A sneak peek at what's coming up next.
There's no, well, let's have a conversation about it. It's, you've immediately said something. I've immediately passed a judgment on what you said based off my own personal perception of the words that came out of your mouth. Right. And I have not bothered to follow up on what did you mean by that? How can we have a greater discussion? Maybe there's something for me to learn here. It's just immediately you are passed judgment upon.
Welcome to On the Spectrum podcast. My name is Nick.
And I'm Steven.
And as I always do before every episode, me and Steve do not presume to be experts of anything. Fuck, I can't do this in that fucking voice. Fuck this. Welcome to On the Spectrum podcast. My name is Nick.
And I'm cutting all that out.
And as I always do, me and Steve do not presume to be experts of anything, absolutely nothing. We're just two human beings who happen to be on the spectrum and happen to be highly opinionated. And if you like, dislike, argue, think we're assholes about anything, please leave a comment on any social media platform, including Spotify, that I'm hoping, God, you're watching this on. Now, today, we have two special guests with us. Well, we have guests with us today. One of which we had on our show a couple weeks ago, and her podcast partner is with us as well. They are the Neurodivergent Convergent podcast. Nikki and Amanda, welcome.
Conjunction, what's your function?
You've been dying to fucking say that, haven't you?
Hi, great to be here.
Every time I hear Neurodivergent Convergence, I just think conjunction, junction.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Fuck.
That's fine. We'll take it
all the way back.
Mm-hmm. Next, you're going to sing all about what makes a bill.
I understood that reference.
Oh, good.
Yes,
good. You got that reference. Good. I'm glad Steve was able to make one for you.
And I'm sitting on Capitol Hill.
He actually is singing that motherfucker. All right. Oh, my God. All right. So, how's everybody been?
Great.
Oh,
grand.
Great.
Wonderful.
Great. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Good,
Steve?
but burnt out as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that too.
Burnout fucking sucks.
How are you?
Yeah.
Well, we already went over my shit. I mean, last episode we just recorded on Sunday, and I just come back from Florida.
Yeah.
This is my first week back here.
Yeah.
And
how was Florida? Did you get anything great? Did you visit any wonderful places?
I don't know.
Blur.
So you're very hulked out today.
Yep.
You got your Hulk Hogan shirt.
Yeah, I'm not as big of a wrestling fan as you are.
That's true. I'm actually a huge fan of wrestling.
But when I grew up, I used to watch
Hulk Hogan.
Because when I was a kid, that's when I watched. So
yeah.
I like all the like 90s and 80s wrestlers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bret Hart.
Yeah. I watched during that era. Yeah.
Hulk Hogan. Yeah. Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior.
Undertaker.
The Road Warriors.
Undertaker. Sting was one of my favorites.
He's keep going.
I really could. I could do.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
There you go.
That was a little after I stopped watching, but
he
was still kind of in that era. It's like mid-90s, right?
Well, kind of. Well, he actually started in the late 80s. Actually, one of his first characters for WWE, he was the ringmaster. He worked alongside Ted DiBiase in his faction, and he was the ringmaster. And like he had really short hair, and he had this little like coat looking fucking thing.
Stone Cold.
But he didn't last very long as that character. And then he went to ECW for a little while, got super good on the fucking mic, and then when he came back, they basically made him, or at least if I remember the time frame correctly, then they basically like kind of created the Stone Cold character, but a lot of that character was literally him just not giving a fuck anymore. And he was just like, I'm gonna whoop your ass. But that's like who he is as a human being, right? And actually, on his Broken Skull Sessions podcast that he was doing for a little while, he actually said one of the things that makes damn good characters is when the character is truly you, but magnified. And I forget who he was talking to, but it was another guy who had a really good character, really good career. And the other guy goes, yeah, I did 30 or 40. Oh, he was talking to Kevin Nash. I did a ton of characters before I came to WWE as Diesel, but Diesel was just kind of who I was. I was that guy who just kind of hung out with people and was kind of quiet. But when I said something, I said it well. And Stone Cold goes, yeah, that was your best character. Didn't you also play Oz? And they showed a picture of him and he looked real fucked up like in I'm going to stop talking wrestling now.
Yeah,
so our topic for today.
You need a podcast with my husband. That's what you need, because you and my husband could talk about this for 300 years. He is literally like, that is his special interest. And I think you and him would make an awesome wrestling show. Like you could do a whole, he's been wanting to do a YouTube channel with somebody about it. So like y'all need to talk, because I feel like you could totally do it.
That might be a fucking thing, man.
He's so into the wrestling history. Like he could literally tell you everything from like the very first wrestlers. Yeah, and he can talk. So you're like, y'all, I don't know how you would never stop. It'd be like a 5-hour long episode each time.
So wrestling is very offensive to me.
It's offensive to tell me more.
Well,
Yeah.
today
Is it offensive because they put on little tiny outfits that barely cover their junk, or is it because they put the women in smaller
my
outfits?
mother used to love watching wrestling when I was younger because she liked seeing all the
all the men in tight outfits.
Yeah.
I'm
and
not
just rolling
surprised.
around, hugging each other.
It's triggering.
Yeah, absolutely. Wait, it's triggering to watch
It's triggering
grown
to
men
him.
grab each other? I can only imagine how much you
it's
hate
triggering
gay
to him
clubs.
because it's reminding him of his mother sitting there watching all these
there you go.
Oh, Sigmund Freudian over here.
That's right.
So, so today we have the Neurodivergent Divergent podcast, and we're going to talk about being
Didn't I already fucking say that?
offensive.
Yes, we're
Yes,
going to talk. We're going to talk
easily
about that.
being easily
Because
Yeah,
as autistic people, a lot of times people find things that we say or do to be somewhat offensive. But there's also kind of a broader cultural context of just like
yes.
PC culture and like what you can and can't say and, you know, all that type of
Which
shit.
even in our community, that shit gets fucking weird because like the language itself, like just the things that we call ourselves, right, has altered so much just in 5 years. Just in the last 5 years, there's been like 3 iterations of what you call the autistic people who are able to hold jobs kind of and hold relationships kind of. Like I don't want to
functioning, low functioning.
Right. And then Asperger's syndrome was before high function, and then there was high function, and then now it's level 1. But even some people don't want to have the levels. They want to have, just low support needs. Well, yeah, but that's what all that shit fucking means. Like that's what it's always meant is that those people of that level, like, or that designation needed less assistance than others. Like
That's offensive, you son of a bitch.
Well, but they do. They don't I don't need somebody to make sure I don't jump out of a fucking bedroom window in the middle of the night.
Listen, I don't appreciate your attitude, and I expect you to wipe my ass for me later.
Okay.
Thanks.
So see, clearly Steve is a level 2. He needs someone to wipe his ass for him.
I can do everything else. I just can't wipe my own ass.
Right. Like he's good every other way. He knows how to touch himself well, just not in the backside. So it's
He needs another man to do that for him.
yeah, that's right. He needs another. Well, only a man is going to know how to wipe another man's asshole. Oh, God.
And it has to be, I prefer to only use shop rags. So-
Shop rag.
and wash them and reuse them.
Oh, God.
Okay, that tracks.
Or like the blue mechanic paper towel.
Yeah,
you know, that
yes.
sort of roll.
Oh, God. Oh, God. I'm sorry, buddy. It didn't quite come out in the wash. Got a little
It's
grease
not
on
so
there.
bad, but occasionally I find pieces of corn in the lint trap.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh,
I don't remember eating corn.
It's nature's colon cleanser.
That's nasty.
Ugh. Okay. So, oh, God.
Sorry, it's going to be one of those days.
It is really going to be one of those fucking days. But the cool part of one of those days is clearly people are going to hear that we're just making a lot of jokes, which is a good
Speaking
idea.
of offensive.
But I would also like to mention that we're also monopolizing the podcast because today, everybody, we have 2 people, like we said before, they also have a podcast because today's episode is actually for both of our shows. So I don't think me and Steve, being typical white males, should monopolize all the time. Ladies, what do you think about the offensive thing? Good. I'm glad you have a lot of thoughts on that. So
I just don't know who was talking first.
I was
Listen.
waiting because I always
And you
talk
wonder
over
why
her,
you
so I
make
was
20
waiting.
cents on the dollar.
oh, God, he
Yeah.
said it.
I
So
know.
here's the
Kidding.
interesting
Why?
part. Like me and Steve has no problem talking over each other. And the both of you were super, super, super polite to the point of like dead air, right? You guys were like, oh, Nick gave it to us, but I don't want to step on her toes. And you both said it in your own heads to each other.
I apologize
Yeah.
for the
Do it a lot
sexist
to
joke.
her.
I don't think that women should make 23 cents less an hour. Okay?
Don't
Did
listen,
you get
we're
that
not
upset by
apologizing
that?
for shit.
Okay, so
We're not
this
apologizing for shit in here
All right,
today. We're
all
not,
right.
because that's the
So-
whole point of this episode. Is we're not apologizing for what we say.
I'm gonna put.
Uh-oh,
I was actually
Amanda
gonna
fell
put
down.
Amanda in charge of Steve, but then her phone
Yep.
fell, and I'm like, she's not responsible enough to make her phone stay up. So you know what? Amanda's in charge of Steve.
This is why
So
we can't leave
Amanda,
the
if
country,
Steve goes
because
too
we can't
far in a
even hold our
joke,
phone up.
you're responsible to tell him. Nikki, you can try to tell me I went too far, but I'm not gonna believe you. So
Yeah, I know. There we go.
So offense, your opinions, ladies, and let's start with, because clearly somebody has to give one of you permission to go first. Let's go with Amanda, because Nikki, you had a whole episode just to yourself. So Amanda, what's your opinion about the offense thing and about the TISM being involved?
Yeah, I think it can be a little like people easily offended these days. Like I have one particular story from work back when I was a teller. I made a joke there on the front of the teller line. There was 3 desks. I made a joke that I was on the very left side. There was someone in the middle, and then someone on the very right side. Me being white on the left side, there was someone that was mixed in the middle, and then someone that was black on the right. And I made a joke of, oh, we have like an ombre effect going on up here. And that I got a talking to about that. They're like, you can't really say things like that. I'm like, I can't point out the fact that I'm the lightest person here. We have a middle, like a slightly darker person than darker person.
Listen, you're a
that.
horrible
I can't
person.
point that out. I know, awful, absolutely awful.
I just came up.
like,
I just came up with an offensive joke right now.
Yeah, like literally, I get to stand there and choose which level of culture I want.
Like so,
Yeah.
Nick and I went
No
out
culture,
for
a little bit of culture, a hell of a lot of culture.
Nick and I went out to get some sandwiches before recording this podcast, and I know that Nick is a big supporter of Palestine because on his sandwich he had lots of Hamas on it.
Oh God!
no.
Oh no!
Wait, you didn't know that's where he was going with that? Come on.
I was gonna
He had
think a
hummus all
different
over his
joke,
sandwich.
but okay.
Oh,
What?
That-
It's not. It's
that
not called
works,
hummus.
though?
What's it called?
hummus.
Oh, my bad. I'm
Hummus.
sorry.
Yes,
Oh,
not
yeah, sorry.
Hamas. Hummus.
Oh,
Easily mixed up.
Yeah,
Easily
yeah.
mixed up.
We
What's the difference-
apologize,
on
everyone.
What's the
YouTube,
difference
and they are
between a
going to,
chickpea and a
like,
lentil?
Oh, what's the difference between a chickpea and a lentil?
I've never had a lentil on my face.
Oh God!
Oh, yuck.
Got the golden shower over here.
I have not. I haven't actually had the
Her
chickpea. either.
Trump likes those
It's
too.
just a
Her
joke.
Trump likes those too.
Oh, Jesus.
You're in good company, sir.
Oh,
We are so
God.
canceled. This
no,
is the
no,
canceled
no,
episode.
no. Like, if y'all
We
ever
should name
heard
it
the
We're
very
Canceled.
first episode we ever had, if we didn't get canceled from that, or we didn't even
I
get
know.
fucking bad comment. Did you hear our first episode?
Absolutely. I
No,
told
our
you, I binged it.
actual first episode. We had our first episode up for, I think it was only 4 months.
Are you a true fan, Nikki? Are you a true fan?
I don't know. I just started listening like not even 3 weeks ago, but
Okay,
I've already
so
binged the whole thing.
There's no way you
probably
did,
not.
because about 2 months ago,
Okay.
maybe 3 months ago, I said to Steve, look, man, I went back over some of our episodes and we got to cut 2 or 3 of them because the audio was garbage as well. Like there was
Yeah.
technical issues to it too. So we should probably get rid of them for that. But our very first episode, there was something said at the very beginning, just because
I made a lot
as-
of offensive jokes.
right.
Yeah.
And they went too far to the point that once we educated ourselves about the community a little bit more, we realized that it didn't work no more. Right.
Gotcha.
So we got rid of that episode altogether. But yeah, we know we can go a little far. But if nobody canceled us from like the first 10 seconds of that fucking episode,
You guys
we're
never
good.
heard that
It's
chickpea
like,
joke
you're in the
before?
clear.
No, I've heard it from you.
Oh,
I've
okay.
never heard the chickpea joke from anybody else.
Oh God.
Jenny.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
okay.
we
there
know what
you
he
go.
does
Special
in his free
case.
time.
Yep, you're a
Yeah.
special case, sir.
Yes, he is.
It's fine.
No. Oh no,
But anyway,
I'm
your
the special
thoughts, Amanda.
case.
Any
Yeah.
more thoughts on this topic? I would
Yeah,
like
come
to
on.
know.
Yeah, just basically that, like the fact that I got in trouble for just pointing out the fact that we're different skin colors apparently can't. It just blew my mind because it was just, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I remember crying, but I was crying out of anger, not out of being like, not by being sad, but being called out. I'm like, how do
Right.
you not? I was like, that was a hilarious joke. You know, fuck you for not thinking that was funny. So, but
Yeah.
the whole, like, I say things all the time. Like I'm sarcastic as fuck, and like but luckily I now have a boss. I did not have a boss before that understood me and my humor.
Mhm.
So like every single thing I said in a joke, she would just take absolutely seriously, my last boss. But now my current boss, she's like, oh yeah, I totally get it. Then she like joked right back at me. Like I had my boss yesterday was like, I'm feeling fucking petty today. I'm like, you go right ahead, ma'am. I'll be right there with popcorn being petty with you. Let's just go ahead and
There you
do
go.
it.
Rock and roll.
So yeah, the whole being, yeah, go ahead.
What?
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 Oh, I thought someone was saying something.
No.
But yeah, the whole being offended easily, like I feel like I have to censor myself a lot of the time. Like, granted, I'm not be like, let's just say racist and sexist and horrible things all the time. It's just the fact that
Right.
I have to tailor my humor,
Yeah.
basically
no,
depending on who I'm around.
and that's
so because
Yeah, go ahead.
Mhm.
No, keep going your
Oh,
thought, because I'm going to partially
Yeah.
interrupt every 5 seconds because I have an inability
No,
to
you're
shut
fine.
the fuck up. You're
That-
more than
that's
welcome
me
to
and
keep
Nikki.
talking.
But,
I was going to say that you're right, though, because this conversation isn't about being able to say racist and sexist and fucking bigoted, prejudiced shit. It's literally moments like you're talking about. You pointed out a fucking fact that was in front of you. Right? Like
Mhm.
it was an observation you made. It's not like you said, look, they're darker than me. Like that's a different conversation. Like you just said, look, it's ombre effect, which is just an observation, but yet people got fucking pissy about it. And I think that's something about our community and actually neurodivergence in general, not even just the TISMs, but like neurodivergent people in general, we say some shit that's just observation because it falls the fuck out of our mouth, right? It's that brain to mouth lack of filter. Right?
Yeah.
See, you both recognize me saying that. Like I've always described myself that way because we've all felt that, right? It's to me, it's one of the unifying factors of everybody who's like fucking
Hashtag no
neurodivergent
filter.
is we go brain to mouth, nothing in between, right? But we all know that thought process because literally but we always say observations and people get pissy about it.
Well, in Nick's case,
what the
it's
fuck?
not because he's autistic. It's just that he's very smooth brained.
That is a true statement. The entire right
Less
side
folds
is just
there.
completely just flat.
There's no
Just,
wrinkles.
none
No
whatsoever.
ridges, no
Nope.
no wrinkles.
Mm-mm.
You
No.
just iron that shit out.
That's
You iron
exactly
His
it
right.
out.
brain don't fold. It irons.
Yep, that's right.
I was
That's
trying to
right.
make a joke like that.
Mm.
My money don't jiggle or don't fold or whatever the fuck that
What?
stupid ass song is. Everyone always says. You ever heard? You did it the other day, Amanda. What is it? How does it go?
My money don't
money
jiggle
doesn't-
jiggle. It folds.
Yeah, it
I
folds.
wanna see you
Yeah,
wiggle,
his
wiggle.
brain don't
It
fold.
holds.
Fold. Yeah, there you go. His brain don't fold. It's just smooth. But I can't make. I was trying to make it work in the song and it didn't work.
Whoop, there's
Cut it
the
out.
mic
Damn it,
again.
Amanda! Fix your
Sorry.
phone.
Stop drinking on the job, Amanda. Come
Oh.
on.
This is actually vodka. Okay, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Mhm.
You know what? If it's
Same.
not, I'm going to be very disappointed in you.
Well, Nick, it actually
Sorry,
his
I'm
brain
doing my
smoothed out
phone.
once he split the hair down the middle.
Yeah.
It just
There you go.
smooth itself out after that.
That's
Okay.
Nope, that did it.
I'd like to fucking mention that he has not gone a single fucking episode without making a fucking middle part joke. Sorry for tapping your mic there. He like not a single fucking episode, and he always does
You part your hair down the middle?
Yeah. Oh,
Do
you
really?
can't tell?
Can't really tell.
Oh yeah, no.
Not,
Man,
not on camera.
The Gen Z
Oh.
loves you. Gen Z loves you right now.
Parted down the middle.
I
know.
always part in the middle. I always have ever since I was
That's
like
like
12.
so controversial. Like that's so controversial because like it was like a whole thing because I'm in like the hair world, right? They're trying to
Okay.
take our side parts away from us.
Why?
Okay. And I'm like, you
Us
fuck you.
millennials. Mhm.
Leave my skinny jeans alone and leave my side part alone. Leave me the fuck alone. They're trying to say that like flare is the only way to go, which fuck you because we had that in like the 2000s, you
What-
stupid little brats.
What is
And then middle
What?
parts are no longer a thing, or side parts are no longer a thing. It's back to the middle part. And I'm like,
Oh.
fuck you. I'm happy with the way my face looks this way. I'm
Uh-huh.
happy with my skinny jeans. Leave me the fuck alone.
Okay, one, you're a grown ass
Sorry.
woman. Stop wearing fucking skinny jeans.
Were you like into
Um,
emo? Is that where
Never.
is that your thing?
No.
No.
No,
Uh-huh.
straight up, like, I've never understood the skinny jeans things, and if y'all dig them and they comfy, fucking do what you got to do. But I've never understood the entire concept of skinny jeans. Like, jeans fucking fit. Why in the fuck do we need to, like, make them fit more? Like, tighter.
Because they're more stretchy. Like they make them at this point, like the skinny jeans are
Uh-huh.
not like jean material like y'all wear.
Like
They're
jeggings.
like stretchy.
Well,
They're
no,
like
no, I-
leggings, but jeans.
Yeah,
So,
like even the
my
men's
fat
skinny
ass
jeans
needs
are
to
similar to
stretch.
that too. Like the men's slim fits generally are a little
Yeah.
more stretchy material too.
Yeah.
I
but,
don't
like,
own
this is
them.
the
You
whole
do.
jean from top to bottom. So it just fits better. And I like how they look on me because I'm short too.
Oh.
So like having that skinny jeans, just,
Yeah.
and then a lot of times they make them in crops and then they fit me right because I'm all of 5'3" on a good day.
I'm sorry, you just
So-
said crops? What?
Cropped length.
Oh,
so like
oh,
they're
cropped.
shorter. Yeah.
Sorry.
Can
All
we
I heard
bring
was
back-
crop,
can we
and I'm
bring-
like, what the fuck is that?
Can we bring back like cutoffs? Like I'll make some jorts. Just cut them off really
Mhm.
short,
Sweet shorts.
right up to like my inner thigh. You know, the Lieutenant Dangle from Reno 911. Can I just do
Oh
that?
my god, that's funny.
Some hot
I
pants.
missed that show. We're way off topic. Okay.
No,
Speaking of
no.
offensive though, Reno 911 was very offensive. Like you could be real offended watching that show.
Yes, you
You really
could.
could,
You
if you
could,
wanted
but
to be.
it was also at a time in Comedy Central's history where that's what they were doing was
Right.
shit that was
South Park.
edgy. Like, and
Yeah.
and I actually appreciate all of that. And then all of a sudden, let's not do any of that at all. Instead, let's find a group that we're going to call the target, and we're just going to insult the shit out of that
Well, it
target.
seems like a lot of the stuff now is like anti-humor.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like anti-joke. Like the stuff is more abstract and kind of just weird.
Fucking Bo Burnham. I was just talking to my buddy last night about Bo Burnham. Now, I've got no problem with the creativity, the level of talent and skill this gentleman has. I saw his first special and went, fuck, this dude's funny. I like this guy's approach to some shit. He does some fucking musical songs. It all sounds really, weird and awkward and cool. And then the second special comes out and I go, it's the same fucking thing. I'm pretty sure that's the same rhythm for the songs. I don't know music well enough, so I have no idea if it actually was. And then he did the whole pandemic one, right? But even that one, same fucking jokes, same fucking style, same fucking rhythms, same fucking and that's what it seems like. That's what he seems like to me, is he's like basically doing like the anti-stand-up kind of thing. And like, no, you want a stand-up person to have confidence, to have charisma, to seem like he knows what the fuck he's talking about, even when he's saying some super ignorant shit. You still want to feel like he got an opinion, right?
I know what you said.
Watch a guy go, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Male or female, step up there as if you feel as if you know everything in the fucking world. Don't step up there and just be like, oh, I'm a kid. Like, what the fuck? Nobody wants to stand up like that. Fuck. I'm sorry. My stand-up heroes, like I said before, Dennis Leary, George Carlin, Richard Pryor. I was huge.
Nikki and Amanda, welcome to the part of the episode called Old Man Yells at Cloud. It's where Nick goes on his old man rants. Listen, back in my day, comedy was funny. Back in my day, they told jokes. They didn't play queer music.
Back in my day, men were men. Men were men.
Yep.
Men wear jorts and hot pants, and we dance to the sounds of
Neon.
Queen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's hey, speaking of which, I got all the pieces for my costume. You're
missing one piece, one crucial piece.
What?
Nothing. A virus. That's fine.
Oh,
I'm missing a little bit of the HIV on that one. All right.
Oh
All right.
my God.
All right. You know what's crazy when me and Natalie actually came up with the idea for me to be Freddie Mercury for the comedy show tonight. So we started looking through pictures and I scrolled up, right? She didn't know, by the way, and I don't know how the fuck she didn't know this, but she didn't know that before he had died, he really like got super skinny and got very sickly looking, right? So I scroll up a picture and she goes, oh, who the fuck is that guy? And I went, it's Freddie Mercury before he died. And she was like, oh, he died? Like she knew, but didn't know that he was like that drastically sick, right?
Oh,
like if you ever see the pictures, like he had to put on makeup to get an even skin tone, but it was very pale, very white. And like, he did not look like Freddie Mercury, right? He definitely did not look like that sexy fucking charismatic guy that was strutting around in a fucking unitard, right? Not that guy at all. He looked like the kind of guy where you go, oh, not long now? Oh, right?
Yeah.
Like, but then I also made the joke that I should dress like that. I probably would have actually.
Are you gonna be him for Halloween?
I am. So I am dressing like Freddie
enough.
Mercury, but I'm not doing the sickly about to die version. The one who sang "Who Wants to Live Forever" like months before he died. No, I'm doing the yellow coat from the Wimbledon show he did.
Oh yes.
Okay, yeah.
I'm doing that one. Yellow coat, white pants, red stripe on the side.
So glad you're on topic today.
You brought up Freddie Mercury, motherfucker.
No, I didn't.
You said Queen.
Okay, I said Queen. I didn't say Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. So anyway, I was going to say, like, he always makes these old man jokes about me and shit. But like, if I was that much of an old man, I wouldn't even like myself. Like, fuck.
Your kids with your skinny jeans.
It's true. It's true.
And your Bo Burnhams.
Well, again, he's a super talented fucking dude. It's just, what the fuck, man? Make a fucking real goddamn joke. His shit's kind of funny, but funny in that awkward, I relate fucking way, not the like, ha ha, look, I thought that way too, because I'm dumb. I like all the like smartsy fucking reflection comics. Leave me alone. Anyway, so Nikki, what's your opinion about the offensive shit? God, I went way off topic.
Well, It's okay. This is just I told her before we started, like, this is gonna be rabbit holy AF and squirrel moments. This is just what we do. It's what we do anyway. And then you put 4 of us together and it's for sure gonna happen. But anyway, my thoughts on this is
hey, look,
I feel
we have
like
sorry. I was gonna make a joke.
Jesus. Go ahead, Nikki. Go ahead.
I was gonna make an ombre joke, but about us all being white. Like that. No.
Okay. It's just shades of cream. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we're shades of mayonnaise. Let's
we're
be
the
honest.
we're the beige people, okay?
Yeah.
We're the beige. It's terrible. Anyway, I feel like, I don't know, I was raised in the, 90s, 2000s, where like things like saying you're retarded was just what you said. Like it was before that got, yeah, I know, canceled already. But like when you just say that's retarded, and like stuff like this is part of the vernacular of the day. Or
I grew up in Massachusetts. Everybody said that.
Yeah, that's so gay.
But it was
like a lot of people said that's so gay and
yeah.
shit.
Without the R.
Yeah, and that's so gay.
Retarded.
Yeah, they'd say it all the time. That's retarded. Yeah, so like I get it. But like and we were raised on like South Park and just the ignorant comedy TV shows like that. Like you weren't supposed to, I wasn't supposed to watch it, but I was up late at night watching Adult Swim when I shouldn't have been, and like we were raised on that inappropriate humor. And so like it just was part of my vocabulary growing up. Right. So it was something that I had to kind of unlearn as the years went on, that like, maybe that's not the most sensitive thing to fucking say. But I wasn't saying it to be rude. We were just saying it because it's just what you said.
Right. It was part of the vernacular for you of that age.
Same thing.
Most of the time when people said that's gay, they weren't trying to insult gay people.
Hold on. Are you making fun of the short bus? Wow, Amanda. Yeah. I would not expect it out of somebody who looks like you. Jesus.
I was the driver of the short bus. Thank you very much.
Excellent. So you weren't quite retarded enough to sit in the back. Got it.
So when Nick when Nick was in school, he was a big fan of the Magic School Bus. So that's how they got him on the short bus. They just told him it was the Magic School Bus.
Oh, they just said
I was
cute
Miss
redhead.
Frizzle for Halloween one year.
Oh, you were Miss Frizzle?
Miss Frizzle one year, and it was dead fucking on. It was dead on. She looked so perfect as Miss Frizzle. It was amazing.
Remember that episode where they went inside that kid's body? That was weird.
Yep.
That was weird.
So you're saying at some point on that show, the teacher went into a student's body?
They shrunk the bus into microscopic size and went through someone's body.
Like I
could have I could have sworn I just set you up like perfect pitch fucking lob for you to knock a home on that one.
I don't make those like pedophilic jokes, Nick. Okay.
Right now you don't.
Yeah, no.
He doesn't right this second, apparently.
Right, yeah.
Jesus.
But anyway, avoiding the whole pedo thing we're about to go down.
So I actually think it kind of goes to the topic, even though I know full well none of us agree with fucking pedophilia in any way, shape, or form. But that joke does still go into the direction of what we're talking about, though, because people still get super sensitive when they hear jokes about that, because like, oh my God, you're making jokes about kids being victimized.
South Park.
No, actually, we weren't.
South Park, the video game, the fractured butthole.
Oh,
which is
that's right.
RPG.
Yeah. And then the second one, I can't remember the second one.
They had Jared Fogle was a boss in that game. Sorry, it was hilarious. So the police are actually trying to capture the kids. They're trying to stop them from doing something. And they lock them in a room with Jared Fogle. And Jared Fogle is a boss you have to fight in the game. And he attacks them with a foot-long sub. And when he attacks them, he holds the Subway sandwich near his crotch, and he like thrusts at them, and there's like fucking oil juices from the sandwich coming out. It's so fucked up. It was, by the way, it's hilarious in the game, but it's fucked up.
No one's in South Park.
Oh
yeah,
that whole game is fucked up. Like,
Nick,
don't they
you need
go
to play
like
that
some
game
gay guy's
sometime.
ass? Don't they go for gay guy's ass in that one?
They also have Nazi abortions.
What?
There's aborted babies, aborted fetuses that are Nazis.
What?
Oh my God.
They have Nazi aborted fetuses in the game you have to fight.
Okay. I'd like to mention that if we were talking about this 24 years ago, we would not all be going, oh my God, to all of this. We'd be like, that's fucking hilarious.
But South Park gets away with all kinds of crazy
23 years fucking later, and we're all like, oh my God, Jared Fogle with a Subway sandwich.
Well, there's this bad guy who's turning the aborted fetuses into like little zombies, but they're like Nazi fetuses crawling around trying to kill you. It's so stupid.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
there's
that's very dumb.
one level where you go up to, I think you go up I didn't watch South Park.
Is
So
it
I don't know
like
the
up
character names, but,
Mr.
like, the gay
Slade's butt or
guy's ass.
something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then you just find
yeah.
all this stuff that
Mr.
he shoved
Mackey.
up there.
That's all the
Mhm,
things
and
up
he
his
shoved
butt.
so
Yeah, it's like all
Okay.
these abandoned things that are shoved up his butt.
Well, they did a whole episode. Like that was a whole episode where he got the gerbil stuck in his
Lemmy
ass.
Winks?
Like that was
Oh
a whole
my
episode.
god! Oh,
Yeah.
were they making fun of the whole Richard Gere fucking suspected
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah, they
thing?
got Mr. Mackey got a gerbil stuck in his ass, and they had to
Okay.
like, yeah, it was a whole episode.
Gerbils are bad and good.
Don't, yeah, gerbils are bad. Okay, yeah, don't do that. But anyway, so like this kind of stuff is what I grew up on, right?
Uh-huh.
So like we grew up watching this shit. We grew up like saying these things, and the intent behind it is what's missed most of the time,
Right.
especially now, just to kind of like bring it back.
Right, where the
I
actual
feel
joke
like-
of it is.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It's like, do I really believe this bullshit that I'm saying? No, it's meant to be in jest and in humor. And
Right.
I mentioned this before, but like, I feel like the world is so fucked in general anymore. And especially then, and it's always been some crazy shit happening in the world, right?
Mm.
And if you can't find humor in something, even when it's might be slightly inappropriate, I feel like what's the fucking point of being on this planet? Like, what is the fucking point of being here if you can't laugh sometimes? If you don't find humor in shit, you're just, I feel like you just fall into fucking depression. It's like
Like
what
my-
the fuck are you here for?
My Hamas joke. Okay?
Yes, yes.
There was nothing
Yeah.
I said
Right. There was
one way or the other. I didn't say like I support one side or the other. All I
Right.
did was make a joke
Right.
about the name Hamas.
Just admit that you
Right.
support Hamas. Just
Yeah.
say that you support Hamas.
and that's
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, just
And I will actually say so.
I don't support Palestine. I support Hamas specifically
Mhm.
because I believe
Just
in the
little
targeted
subgroup.
destruction of Israel.
yes.
I'm just kidding.
Somebody's gonna clip that the fuck out of there.
Yeah,
Somebody's
they
gonna
are.
clip that shit out.
Like,
That's gonna
he's
be great.
anti-Semitic now.
God.
You're gonna
okay,
be on
so
Fox News next. Just watch.
Yeah.
right.
You're gonna be a guest on
Watch
Fox
list.
News.
Watch
I,
list.
I swear to God,
Mhm.
some fucking anchor
Well,
person
hold
on
on.
fucking Fox News is going to pop up your fucking face with Hulk Hogan on the front of you and just like, this gentleman now supports Hamas. He's
Okay, hold
now an
on.
American terrorist.
Here's part of the problem is, and I'm only going to say this real quick.
Okay.
A lot of people conflate Hamas and the Palestinian people because Hamas is the
Yes.
regime that's in charge.
Just like people used to
Right.
think that all Germans were Nazis, and no, they weren't.
Correct.
Nazi was a group of people. There were German citizens that didn't agree at all.
So that's why I was making the
Correct.
joke that
Yeah.
I support
Yeah.
Hamas specifically, not the Palestinians, not the people, just the regime that's
Just the
Calling out
violent
fact that It's
fuckers.
not the same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Calling out the fact that it's not the same thing.
Right.
So
Okay.
going back to that though, like how do you feel like bring the tism back in for a second?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I can't
there's
do
this
that.
thing, right, where we don't get sarcasm or we don't understand humor. It's like the general thing is like, oh well, if you don't understand sarcasm, then you can't have the tism or whatever, right? If
Yeah, the
that's
stereotype of
so
that. Yeah.
not true.
I mean, I
like,
did
if
have a
that
hard
is
time
one of the
understanding
worst-
sarcasm for a long time.
You
but-
did, and then you watched enough
Yeah.
comedy and learned for yourself what the fuck it was. You know, I want to
Right.
total side note, but also along the same lines here is every time I read, actually quite often when I'm reading or watching some TikToks or reels or whatever, one of them social media fucking things. Yeah, another old man moment for you, Steve. Anytime I'm reading those and somebody talks about like, you know, how come the rest of the world doesn't change for us and shit? You know, they didn't teach us the rules and shit. Yeah, but what are you doing to
Yeah.
try to learn it? Like, I know full well when I didn't understand some shit socially, my ass watched way more fucking movies, way more TV shows. I asked more fucking questions of my friends who clearly didn't have the fucking problem that I was having. Like,
Right.
and I'm not saying I'm better or worse than anybody else on the fucking planet. No fucking human
Right.
being at all. I'm just saying that, like, in a given moment, and kind of what we're talking about with being offensive and like getting back to like the traits for autism that kind of cause social issues for us, I searched out what normal is, like what happens most often, what is the regular social interaction for it. I looked.
You're being
for
very
that.
ableist right now.
No, I'm
So
just telling you
people would
my
say that,
experience.
for
I'm
real.
not saying
Like-
everybody need to do this shit. And I'm not saying everybody needs to step up like I did. I'm just saying this is what I did to seek out an
This is what
answer.
works for you.
What?
Right.
What'd you say?
So this is what worked out for you.
Yeah, I'm just saying for me. I'm not even saying everybody has the fucking ability to fucking read what I read and translate it the same way I did. I'm not saying that either. What I'm saying,
that's part of the problem.
What?
Go ahead. Sorry.
No.
I was like, and that's part of the problem. It's like if you try to say something from your own personal perspective, you're like, well, and then other people get offended, and they're like, well, that won't work for me. It's like I didn't say it would. I'm just saying it worked for me. I'm not talking about you. Like, I'm not talking about you, you narcissist. Calm down.
Yeah. No, I'm totally with you because there's a certain lady that I decided to unfollow with our page account who's on TikTok because she kept doing a bunch of fucking videos saying this is what autism is, this is what autism isn't, this is how you can help yourself on autism, this is how you can't. And I'm like, fuck you. Like, A, you ain't got a degree in shit. Like, you don't have fuck nothing of a reason to be able to fucking say one thing or another. You have some opinions and I'm glad you have them. Please share them, but don't fucking say it as if you fucking know best. Because none of us truly fucking know best. And like, I work in an industry where we say the patient knows best. I'll tell you right now, none of us fucking know best, right? We're all just fucking crapshooting every goddamn decision we make. Oh, wow, I soapboxed the shit out of that moment, didn't I? All right, let me back the fuck down now. But I still do it to this day. Like when Steve points out, am I monopolizing shit again, Steve?
What?
So Nikki, what's your opinion?
Well,
I had an RSD moment right there.
You're okay. I feel like it's, I don't know, my brain just shat out. Steve, say something.
Hi. I actually, so this is something that happened to me recently. So I occasionally go on Reddit. I was on Reddit and
occasionally
I noticed that like a lot of subreddits are very toxic and have kind of a hive mind. So I was on this subreddit page and all I did was offer to share my opinion. I didn't actually share it, but apparently that was triggering enough that somebody
how dare you share your opinion
attacked me. They made fun of me for being autistic, and then when I reported the person who was making fun of me for being autistic, I got banned from that subreddit.
Oh, I mean that tracks.
By the way, this is a very popular I don't know how to say this in a polite way. So
don't say it in a polite way. We're among friends of the TISM.
We're not apologizing today.
It's a controversial but also popular subreddit that focuses mainly on like women's issues.
Okay.
And so I guess they just didn't like the fact that I was a guy.
Right. So they were being sexist against you. They held the power in the room and said, fuck you, you're a guy, get out.
Here's a thing that I have a problem with that I have to remind myself.
No dicks allowed. That's the sign on the front of their bar.
What I have to remind myself is if I'm in a space, let's say this is a subreddit that is focused on women's issues. However, it's also a subreddit that is, I don't want to say forced on everybody, but it's like one of the default subreddits. So it pops up for everybody.
Okay.
And
like the homepage.
And people will ask rhetorical questions in those subreddits they don't actually want answers to. And that's the problem is I have to remind myself, like, okay, this is a women's space. Women want to just complain or vent or express frustration.
Or maybe talk to other women who might have similar experiences. Right. What the fuck? It's always about complaining?
But what I'm saying is usually they say things they don't actually want. It's kind of like that guy thing where women complain that guys want to solve the problems and listen.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. But like,
it's an echo chamber.
If I just say like, hey, like what I said was, hey, I don't know like if you actually want to understand why a guy might do that or if you just want to vent about it. But I said, if you actually want to, like I'm asking because I didn't want to share the
you tried
opinion.
to mansplain, didn't you?
I didn't want to share the opinion unsolicited. So that's why I asked if you want me to share the opinion.
Hold on.
That apparently was offensive in itself. And in fact, I talked to one of the mods about it and they said, well, your comment wasn't relevant to the post. That's why we banned you. And you were being rude or something. And I'm like, how was I being rude? But,
so
okay.
I actually
you were offering something before you went ahead and got accused of mansplaining. You were
anti-mansplained.
Like, if you really want to understand this, I will absolutely.
I wanted to try to explain from like the male perspective because this woman was complaining about something a guy did.
Shove it down their throat. So
and I wasn't
trying to hear my opinion.
I wasn't trying to like make excuses for the guy's behavior, but I wanted to try to offer maybe why a guy might do something like that.
Yeah, no, that wasn't what she was there for. She was there for to say.
So I need to remind myself.
Yeah, she was there to bitch.
I need to remind myself that when you're in those kind of spaces, sometimes people just want to
Well,
want to
yeah.
complain or want to bitch and they don't want.
Yeah.
But that's also why
Well,
I
they
get
don't want a
asked, hey, do you
solution.
want me to explain them?
Well, I think that's the difference between mansplaining and giving an explanation or giving knowledge to somebody is if you start off with, well, let me help you with that. That's fucking mansplaining. Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, actually, except for, let me point something out with that statement though. Those of us who are autisms, we have tendency to say some shit like that when we feel like the person doesn't have all the information we feel they need for something. Like there are times where I am clearly not saying somebody is dumber than me. I just have extra information. I'm like, actually, so, and I just start going into it, and it's not even a thought in my head of who I'm saying it to. It's straight up just, whoop, I got info.
They call that being a neckbeard online.
A what?
Really?
A neckbeard.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
Why is what?
A neck beard, a fedora, you know?
It's like, well, actually.
Which is like every autistic male I've ever met fucking says that phrase. Actually, no, every D&D Magic player I've ever met says that fucking phrase.
The stereotype of a neckbeard is like kind of like an overweight guy with like hair growing out of his neck, like pimples, maybe wears a fedora, like D&D nerd. Like that's the stereotype.
Oh, so as I just said, D&D people.
I'm gonna be playing D&D later today. So
you are?
Yep, there it is. Yep,
oh, bravo.
Like,
so say hi to your neckbeard guy.
See, she knows what a neckbeard is.
I will.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
sure.
the problem is.
But like, let me ask you a question a minute, because you're playing with a bunch of people who probably say that fucking phrase often. Do you feel that they only really say it to women to mansplain, or is that just part of their vernacular?
It depends. It just depends because they. I will say that the one that's leading it is my coworker, and he has the same brand of like I kind of joked to him. I'm like, "Are you sure you're not autistic?" And he's like, "No, no." I'm like, "Are you sure? Your wife's ADHD. You make a perfect pair."
Yep.
But
everyone's a little.
But yeah,
autistic.
Yeah, everyone's a little autistic, guys.
Yeah, a little bit.
Everyone's just a little bit racist to have an EQ. But so the whole well actually thing, it just depends on like what not the tone, but like what the intent is. Because like, okay, if you're giving me information that you genuinely believe I don't have, then fine. But if like say like a woman who is a physicist is explaining something, and then like a guy who works at McDonald's just goes, well, actually, she's like, just shut the fuck up.
Well, hold on. Let me, and I'm not. You're right in that situation completely.
You're about to actually mean.
Well, no. What I was going to say, I was going to talk with you about a fucking subject. Because
he's trying to mansplain to you right now.
No, not at all. Not at all. What I was going to point out is like, you were correct. Like 90% of the fucking time, you're right. The person who's got a fucking degree in physics, male or female, is going to know way more about fucking physics than that dude who works at McDonald's. There are going to be some situations where that person who works at Mickey D's might have just happened to recently read an article about some shit that person doesn't know about and brings it up. There is a possibility to that. And the reason why I point that out is because I only have a bachelor's degree in psychology, but I read a fuck ton about psychology. I read a fuck ton of research papers. I read a fuck ton about different therapeutic processes, different things people are figuring out about the brain. And so like, there is some shit that the people who have a higher degree set than me might not know and might not have read, because psychology is a ginormous, physics is a big field too, but psychology is a big fucking field. I mean, there's a whole lot of subsets to it, right?
Well, actually, it's pretty
means,
simple.
And by no means am I mansplaining to you at all in that. Because I stopped using, well, actually, a long time ago when somebody did it to me and I went, shut the fuck up, I know that already. Oh, yeah, I got to stop saying that.
Yeah, he's not trying to mansplain you. He just doesn't respect
stop
women.
talking over a woman. What the fuck?
I think the difference is like, say you read an article, say there's like a world-renowned psychologist, you read an article, instead of saying like, well, actually, it's they like recent study said this, it's like the difference is saying, well, have you heard about this sort of thing?
Yes, agreed. As I was about to spill my coffee, it's a way bigger cup than I'm used to, man. Okay, I keep hitting the fucking thing. No, I agree with you.
Small?
Yes, it is. Oh, they're about the size of Trump's. But I agree with you, Amanda. It is about the approach in which you take. Because if you say, well, actually, you're coming from a position of authority or expertise, or at least assumed expertise.
Or like condensation.
Yes, exactly. They're compensating for whatever insecurity in the back of their head. So like, whoa, I know some shit now.
sounds a little condescending.
Yes. And I agree with that, but there
Like
are also
like
times,
a convict going downstairs.
and I'm gonna say this directly. There are times where women have accused me of mansplaining, but I know my intent was none of that. I know my intent was that, but because I happen to look fucking male, because not that anybody fucking checked with me on that motherfucker, but because I look like somebody who acts, or because I look like the stereotype of the person who has oppressed everybody, they automatically assume that's what the fuck I was doing. Even though I didn't even start with, well, actually, what I said was, well, I read this paper the other day that talked about this direction. What do you think? And then they were like, you don't need to mansplain. I have a master's degree. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck. You've got a master's fucking degree in social work, for Christ's sake. I'm talking about fucking human behavior over here. Shut the fuck up. So I got a little indignant after that, because all I was trying to do was contribute to the conversation, not trying to one up her. But I've had that several times in my life. What?
But that's how it's seen. And like, that was my point with this too. Is like,
the offense thing.
I feel like when we're giving the tism in us, especially if it's a special interest topic, right? We want to say, hey, I have something to contribute here that I think is important that might help you broaden your knowledge set on this said topic, correct?
Agreed.
But when we interject in that way of, well, actually, when we're just excited to give more information, we are stereotyped as being rude, or it's assumed that we're trying to one up the conversation, or
more so
steal
we're
someone's thunder,
rude in that moment,
or whatever, right? So like it's seen as rude, intrusive, one-upping, or controlling the conversation, or not allowing someone else to have their own viewpoint or vantage point or opinion, because it seems like we're constantly trying to, interject or one up the conversation, or seem smarter than we are, or whatever. Attribute it to whatever you want. But you could put that across the entire gambit of everything, from making funny jokes to trying to contribute to an intellectual conversation, to trying to contribute some weird fact about something that your brain was triggered by the conversation. We just want to be included, and we're trying to be included in the topic, and it's seen as rude when we're just trying to offer our information and be a part of the conversation in the best way we know how, which is, I have information about this topic, therefore I can be included here, let me jump in. And then we're like taken aback when they're like, fuck you, what the hell, I didn't ask you for your opinion. It's like, no, that's not what I was trying to do. But then you can't explain that very well either, because they're already pissed that you've interjected. So that was my topic on that.
It all boils down to perspective, perception of it, right? If you automatically assume the intent of another human being with nothing more than just your observation or your already preconceived notion, then you're already like not listening to them to begin with, right? But obviously we can't know somebody's intent unless we ask them. But I think that's what has changed. And maybe it's only changed because I'm now getting to an age where like I'm seeing certain things differently. But I'm pretty sure in the early 2000s, in the 90s, people fucking asked more questions like, what the fuck you mean? Right? Like, where are you coming from on that perspective? Like, we asked more of it. What's that?
I said it feels that way. It feels like the perception of intent is implied now, depending on your personal viewpoint. So your personal viewpoint in the context is the only thing, meaning the person making the assumption about what just happened in the situation. Your personal viewpoint is affecting everything all the time, right?
All the time.
But especially nowadays, I feel like everyone assumes before they try to understand where the other person is coming from. You hear a statement made, and there's an assumption about that person immediately based on what came out of their mouth. There's no questioning. There's no help me understand what you meant by that. There's no, well, let's have a conversation about it. It's you've immediately said something. I've immediately passed a judgment on what you said based off my own personal perception of the words that came out of your mouth. And I have not bothered to follow up on what did you mean by that? How can we have a greater discussion? Maybe there's something for me to learn here. It's just immediately you are passed judgment upon. I could have taken that joke you made earlier, Steve, about the main thing or the Holocaust or what the million jokes you have said.
I didn't make any
Holocaust
podcast jokes today.
No, she's bringing up topics.
All of the episodes, over all the episodes I have listened to, the million jokes that you have made, I could have passed judgment upon you as a person who is racist.
You mean like Amanda
bigoted, did? Yeah, like Amanda did.
I can see the look on your face or lack of expression. I get it. No.
Yeah. Okay. That's another thing. She just is that just is her.
Yeah,
That's
that's-
the thing.
So, but that's
my autism. Okay. Sorry,
yeah. Well, I was
resting
actually bringing it up because as I keep doing this to my mouth, right, while somebody else is talking, because that's how I had to teach myself how to fucking let people fucking talk, because I have
my face hurts when I talk to people because I force a smile. Like I have to force a smile, otherwise I look like I have RBF too. It's
no,
like
that's
thing.
okay. You can have that. It's just the lack of expression. I'm not sure if she's still alive. I can't see if she's.
We're just
breathing.
gonna call her Daria.
No, and I apologize if
I
any of
will
that's
be Daria.
offended.
Yeah,
What?
I'm being Daria for Halloween. So that's hilarious.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. He called it.
So
she is Daria in real life.
and I'm actually partially bringing that up because of what you're talking about, Nikki, because people could see Amanda right now on the podcast and just think she's bored or she doesn't agree or she's pissy or whatever. And none of that is true. It's their perception of the characteristics of her face, not the reality of what's in her head. Far too many people think they're fucking psychic. And I don't mean that because there are actually people who believe they're psychic, and I'm not making fun of them at all. I have no idea if that's a real thing or fucking not, and I don't care if it's a real thing or not. But far too many fucking people believe they are smart enough and skilled enough to know what another human being is thinking.
Yeah,
and
isn't it a lot of that like evolutionary? Because like even
being
babies,
psychic?
Hold on. Will you shut your mouth for a second? Even babies react and respond to people's faces. And like a lot of our communications as human beings is nonverbal. It's body language, facial expressions. So like, yes, as a lot of people who are on the spectrum don't necessarily make a lot of facial expressions or not very expressive all the time.
And we're not good at reading it either. Yeah.
However, it is somewhat normal for neurotypical people to read the body language and the what people's faces are telling them. It doesn't mean that they should maybe make extra leaps and make assumptions, but it's normal for people to read other people's faces as human beings.
You're right. It's just
Can I pause us for 2 seconds? I'm sorry. Can I pause us for just a second? The coffee has hit me. I really need to take a bathroom break, so I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll come right back.
I'm not gonna cut this out. I'm just gonna leave it in.
Yeah, we're gonna leave this part in.
We're not gonna talk either. We're just gonna like awkward silence while you
just awkwardly wait for me to come back from the bathroom. I don't care, but like I'm about to pee my pants, so I really have to go to the bathroom. And then I want to hear Amanda's story because this has been her entire life. Like she has been so judged by the fact that she is just kind of flatly affected.
All of us have in one way or the other. You've got fucking resting bitch face. Nick looks like a man who would touch children, and Steve is Steve.
People think I have no feelings at all. So
yeah, they think he's fucking emotionless. Anyway, go pee. Don't get a urinary tract infection. Go.
Okay, I gotta go. Bye.
I'm gonna go too, since she's gone.
Yeah, you should go too. You should leave me and Amanda alone together so she can stare at me awkwardly and I could say some really offensive shit.
I'm just like the whole me like staring off. It's like I'm trying to think of like, okay, I want to say this thing, but how do I phrase it in a way that doesn't make me sound stupid?
Well, that's what happens with him too. Like I've been working with him for 7 years now, and only in the last like 9 months have me and him truly connected for the autistic selves we are. Prior to that, we had all these fucking issues because his ass is better writing things, like typing shit out in text message, and I'm better at talking. So communication already is fucked for us, right? Because
that's me and Nikki for sure. Like I'm a better like writer. Like as long as you let me get my thoughts out. That's why when she originally wanted to do this podcast, I'm like, but I'm not good at the talking thing. So I was like, I can write for you all day long, but I'm not good at the talking thing.
So we had a couple of episodes right at the beginning where he was like, man, you just talked a lot. You didn't even let me talk. Right. And I was like, how long do you want me to fucking sit there and wait for you to fucking process? Like, how long do you want me to do that for? Like, you're worried about having dead space on fucking air. Like, what do you want me to do? And but he said it enough times that I said, you know what, man, here's an idea. You love to write. That's your communication style. So why don't you do that? And he actually created a blog for On the Spectrum. And that's where he gets to, do his fucking thing, right? And since he's been doing that, he's been giving me extra space here verbally to be able to do my thing because, honest to God, you and him could probably write a 10 fucking page explanation or opinion about fucking anything. I'll give you a paragraph. because
with
that
lots
to
of
me,
typos and
with tons of typos and
no
shit. Because
punctuation.
I type the way I talk, and somebody once told
Is it
me
all in
put it.
caps lock? Is it all in caps lock too?
Tell
Like
him,
Homer?
can you teach this man how to use a comma? Jesus Christ.
So I had a professor
Stop
years
putting
ago.
apostrophes in plural words, okay?
Yeah.
Stop putting apostrophes in plural words.
So I said professor, which was wrong. I had a teacher many, many moons ago say, every time you take a breath is where a period goes. Well, my ass can fucking talk for 30 seconds straight without fucking taking a breath.
You're just one
Yes.
long run-on sentence.
Yes.
That's what you
So
are.
Hi,
when
my
I
name
got-
is Nick, and I'm here to talk to you today about jelly beans because jelly beans taste really good, and I really like jelly beans.
Exactly.
That's
So
how it
when
reads on the paper.
Yeah. So when I got to college and I was doing a shit ton of run-on sentences, my professor was like, your paper's fucking wrong. Use a goddamn comma. And I was like, okay, where? Well, every time you breathe. I didn't. And she was like, okay, read it to me. And I just started going. And she was like, oh, you're not kidding.
But when you read my stuff,
Like-
yeah.
does it make
Like, you
sense
have the
to you where I
lungs of
have
it,
commas
like-
and stuff?
Well, no,
How do you
it's
read
still-
the stuff that I write?
Well, because it still makes sense to me, because when I see a comma or a period on a page, I stop. Like literally I take like in acting, they would say, take a beat. I take a beat
Like a
and
comma,
then I fucking start again.
comma is like a short pause, and a
Right,
period is like.
but that's just it though. If you want to do that in relation to like when I go to write, if I do it based on when I breathe, right? I'm just
See, my problem is I use way too many commas because I pause a lot when I talk because I'm trying to get the thought process out. So when I type, I use way too many commas. I'm like, that should just be a period. That should just be, just don't put a comma there. Just stop.
So my overcorrection of that was
Wait,
I
so
was
how
so
would-
worried about how many periods I did that I eventually, like, my writing sounded the dog walked down the street. The dog put its foot on the ground. The dog, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't,
So,
there was no flow.
Amanda, when did you miss your first period?
Oh God. Hi, Nikki. Welcome back.
Oh no.
Holy
I
shit.
heard the whole conversation because I left my earbuds in.
Holy
'cause it's just-
shit.
So I was listening to this the whole time. It
When
was really
did you
funny.
miss your first? What?
Because she said she uses too many commas. So I'm wondering when she
know.
missed the first period.
It was
a great
actually 14 years old. The summer of when I was 14 years old.
Same. No, just kidding.
That's when you missed your first
That's
one?
when we started our
Yes,
first period.
that's
when we
started.
missed our
That's what I'm
first
saying.
period.
Yeah, that's not-
saying.
She's
not
never
when you
missed her
miss-
first. Well, you
Did
have
you-
missed a period, and then
did
they come
you,
up later, but not
so-
because you were pregnant.
Was that offensive? I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Hey,
No.
no, Nikki said we're not allowed to apologize.
That was inappropriate.
No apologies today.
Inappropriate.
Okay, so where the fuck were we and what were we talking? I know
We're
I had
talking
a
about
point I was going to
RBF.
make.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wanted
we're talking about-
Amanda to talk
perception.
about the RBF thing. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
Amanda to talk about the RBF thing, and then I want to hear from Steve too, because I feel like he said he's been called cold and emotionalist or whatever. So I want to hear from him, and then I want to hear
'Cause I
from
am.
you.
You know,
and I've already talked
before
about
she
it, so I'm not
fucking
going to
cut
say
me
anything.
off.
I just want to hear.
before she
Yeah.
fucking cut me off to go fucking
The
drain
turns
her
are
fucking
tabled,
bladder,
sir.
I was like,
the table, okay?
the fuck? Anyway, hi, Amanda. Go ahead.
Nick doesn't take
Hi.
bathroom breaks. We put a little cup under his chair.
Yeah.
Cut a hole in the
a
bottom.
bottle.
Yeah, he thinks
Mhm.
there's a cup. It's not. It's a hose that goes down to his downstairs neighbor.
That's hilarious. Okay, RBF
yeah.
face, go.
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple of the stories I have is when I first worked at the movie theater, I had one of the coworkers. It was probably a few months after she started working there. We got to actually become really good friends. She goes, when I first started, I thought you didn't like me. I go, why? She's like, well, you just never smiled at me. I was like, that's just my face. I'm sorry. She's like, I just thought you hated me. I'm like, no, I really liked you. I was like, you're competent. So I liked you. And then every time I walked into work when I worked at Barnes and Noble, I had a manager, really neurotypical. She was like, are you okay? I go, yeah, why? She's like, you look upset about something. I'm like, that's just my face. Sorry, that's just my face. And then the last one I remember is I was at work. I was at Barnes and Noble, and I was off shift, and I was sitting at one of the cafe tables on my computer. I was reading a story, and I was listening to music. And my coworker comes up to me. She goes, "Are you okay?" I take my earbud out. I go, "Yeah, why?" She's like, "You look like you're wanting to murder something." I go,
Well, something.
"No, I'm reading a good. I'm reading a
someone.
good story. Yeah, just something."
Just
I'm reading a
something.
good story, actually. She's like, "Oh, your face just looks like you want to murder someone." I'm like, "No, that's just my face. That's just my face all the time."
I had a
So-
coworker. She recently left, but I had a coworker who said, "Did I do something wrong?" And I said, "No, why?" Well, I'm a supervisor at my job, and I said, "No, why?" And she goes, "You never say hi to me in the morning." And I said, I don't say hi to anybody. And she goes, well, why don't you say good morning to anyone? And I said, because I'm fucking doing my job. Like,
and also it's the morning. Morning sucks.
like
So,
what the
sorry.
fuck? It's 5:30 in the fucking morning and I'm just getting here and shit.
I'm
Like,
not a monkey performing for you, okay?
yeah,
Stop.
but that's what it seems like to me every fucking time somebody wants me or forces me to do the niceties, right? And it's not that I'm a mean prick about it. It's just, if I ask you how your day is, I'm actually asking you, how is your day? How do you feel? Was it good? Was it bad? When I finally get to that. But if you want me to do it on fucking command, give me a fucking cookie first. Like, oh shit, I hope to God nobody sees me on the street and is like, here's a fucking cookie. I hope to God
Make
that
sure
never
it's a
fucking
biscotti
happens.
so it cracks his
Now
teeth.
let me tell you about my day.
Yeah, like
let me bring you to my van with. I also have more cookies in my windowless van.
I am
Just
totally
go on.
following.
The
I am
Daria
totally
van?
following because if somebody actually wants to sleep with me, whether they want to give it to me or not, I'm going to that van.
I actually I wrote a joke about Nick in a van for one of the roasts we did.
Oh, that's true. Yes, he did.
I said he's a creep, and I said he was the only kid who used to go like willingly get into the van or something like that.
That's fucking right.
So he would walk out 30 minutes later with a smile and a ring pop.
Hell yeah.
Oh
Give me
my
that
God.
fucking lollipop, bitches.
Jesus
So they just have to
Christ.
promise you a dog. They're
He
like,
went
"I got
out
a dog
looking
if
for
you
the
wanna see it."
windowless vans. He went out looking for him.
Hey, you know,
my
when
God.
strange men tell me in the park that they lost their dog, I immediately try to help them. Yeah,
They Ted
immediately.
Bundy'd you.
Hey,
Yeah,
you know
that's
what?
exactly
Like,
right.
joke's
Ted
on you,
Bundy'd me.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
I bat for both teams.
Some love is
Yeah,
better
that's
than
right.
none at all.
That's right. No, you know what, Nikki, you're absolutely right. Whether it was a man or a woman, I'm fucking following. I'm down for both fucking genders. So you know what? Somebody
That's
wants
why I
to
said
fuck.
joke's
Let's
on
go
you,
fuck.
motherfucker. I bat for both
Sir,
teams.
there's 47 genders.
Hey,
There
mister,
are
why is there a
47
mattress
Oh,
genders.
there's
in your van?
47 genders. I'm sorry. I'm only down for
Oh,
like
fuck off.
40.
Is that a real thing?
7 of them can go fuck
It's
themselves.
a joke. It's a
Oh,
joke
okay.
online. It's like
I
how
was
dare
like,
you say
Jesus
there's 2
Christ,
genders? There's
that
47.
escalated quickly.
Yeah, guaranteed somebody got a fucking running tally of this shit. And like every other day, they're putting another fucking mark on that tally for how many genders there are. Here's an idea. Why don't we retrain ourselves as human beings to not give a fuck about the physical fucking biology of anywhere and just refer to each other as human? Ooh, I got a better idea. Why don't we just refer to each other by the fucking name we have? Let's stop saying he, she, they, them, z, za, f, fucks. Fuck all that. Why don't we just say fucking Nikki, Amanda, Steve, Nick? Let's go. No, Nikki, you got to change your name. It's far too close to mine. And I was born first,
Sorry.
so I win.
So Nick,
You're like,
Actually,
you're like,
most
fuck
people
them
call me
pronouns.
Nick. So
What?
Amanda can attest to this. A lot of people actually call me Nick. And my whole family.
Okay,
does. They
sweet.
don't call
You'll
me
be
Nikki,
Nick.
they
I'll
call
be
me Nick.
Nikki from now on, okay? In fact, my brother's been calling me Nikki since I was fucking 3, so.
Well, there you go.
so
Yeah, when the movie Little Nicky came out, I thought my brother wrote it because he's been referring to me as Little Nicky since I was way before that fucking movie came out. And so
I
when
love
it
that
came
movie.
out, I
Don't
was
get me
like,
started on Adam Sandler. We'll be here for 13 hours.
okay, yeah,
He's my favorite.
we're not talking about awesome fucking comedians
I've never been accused of
my favorite.
having resting bitch face
because you're
Okay.
not
because I'm not a
female.
man because I'm not a woman. But
Yeah, man.
He's
Um,
not a
They call it
man.
for you.
But my experience was pretty similar to Amanda's in pretty
Yeah.
much every job I've had, where people would be like, "Oh, or people would say like, "Oh, why are you like so angry?" Or they would say, like, actually, I had a lady complain that I didn't say hi to her in the morning, or I didn't introduce myself to her when I came in. Or I was like, yeah, because I'm working. Or like, same thing as with the face. They would say like, oh, how come you, people would assume that I was didn't like them or stuff like that. It was like,
Right.
whatever.
Tag me
I
in,
think Nick
tag
really
me
wants
in,
to talk
tag
to
me in, tag me in.
No, I'm not doing that.
Let him finish his thought, poor guy.
So straight up, I got a story to actually support the shit out of what Steve
And
just said.
I thought of one more story too when you.
Good.
So you go ahead first.
Yeah, I'll be super quick. Probably not, but
Are you
I will
sure?
try.
Are you sure?
No. But that
The
lie detector test determined that was a lie.
when we recruited somebody new for our comedy group, who I will not mention the name of because Steve still likes the person. I kind of do too. But when we recruited him, we used to hang out a lot with people and like go to casinos and fucking other shit together and all that. But one day the person stopped and said, "Dude, why is Steve always in a bad mood?" And I said, "He's not. He's actually he's doing really good today. He's having fun with us." Like, they were like, "How do you know?" And I said, "Because he just made fun of you for the last hour and a half." And they were like, "Well, but but look at the way he looks. And I was like, he looks like fucking Steve. That's the way the guy looks. And the person was so like, well, I know when you're upset because you get angry and you get loud and you seem frustrated, but Steve just sits there and blankly stares at you. And I said, yeah, that's him being pissed with you. It's when he's talking, you know, he's okay. And the person was like, that's weird. And I went, no, it's not. It's fucking Steve. Leave it alone. So Amanda, you said you had a story.
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, so I had actually gotten fired after one day on a job. I got laid off at one job, and so I went to one of those like hiring centers where you take like tests and stuff, and then they place you somewhere, like a staffing agency. That's what it's called. So I actually had gotten hired at the staffing agency because I did so well on the tests. And so it was like the first day on the job, this lady was showing me around, like, this is what you'd be doing, blah, blah. And then the next day she pulls me to her office. She's like, so you did really well on the test. You dressed professionally, all that. You seemed to understand what was going on, but I'm gonna actually have to let you go. And I go, oh, why? She's like, you just don't seem happy. I go, well, what do you mean? She's like, well, you didn't smile at all. I'm like, and I didn't say this, but I want to. I'm like, am I supposed to smile while filing paperwork and staring at a computer screen? Like, what am I supposed to be doing here? Like, that, am I just supposed to be smiling like an idiot while sitting alone?
It reminds me of Office Space with with Jennifer Aniston's character with the fucking
flare, the pieces of flare.
The flare.
Yep.
Yeah.
How much should I have?
So,
well, as much as you want to have. But
so it's just like the fact of the matter, like I was fired for not seeming happy at a job where all I'm supposed to be doing is basically just being an office grunt, where I'd be just filing paperwork and putting stuff into a computer. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing?
They wanted a monkey to perform for them, is what they wanted.
Yeah. So that's basically my whole life. I lasted one day at that job. So it just, so that, like Nikki said, my whole life has been like, you just don't seem happy. Well, I mean, I can't just smile on command unless you want to pay me. Unless you want to pay me to be emotive, I'm not going to do it. Sorry. And so
the only time I really show expression is when I'm acting.
Literally, if he's on a stage, this motherfucker got so much emotion, you would think he's two fucking people. You take literally the second he steps off the stage or right before he goes on, it's just fucking vacant. Right. And I'm okay with that because, like, quite honestly, like, it's really refreshing to not look at somebody's face and have to like piece apart the fucking puzzle. Right. All I got to do is ask him, dude, you pissed? No.
I wear my neurotypical mask on stage when I'm acting.
Yeah. And he's fucking great at it. And honest to God, Steve is a damn good actor and shit, in my estimation. Right. Because he can fucking do that. He can turn on that fucking emotionality. Right.
Right.
But like, fuck, nobody gets this shit. And they're always like, oh, he's so intensely concentrating on something right now. You know, is Steve aggravated from work? No, he's not fucking aggravated. And to your point, Amanda, I've always felt like that at just about every fucking job. You know what? If you want me to fucking smile more, fucking pay me to smile. That it's not in my job description to fucking make you happy. Like, and I sound pissy about it because I've heard it so many fucking times that like they all want to be treated like fucking individuals and they want to be accepted for who they are. Fucking accept us. Like fucking most of us have a look on our face as if we don't want to be there because most of the time we fucking don't want to be there. Like
even my boss, even though she is so far one of the best bosses I've had in terms of like understanding me, because I feel like she's a little autistic. But so she one time was telling me, I forgot what news she was telling me, but it was really good news. And she's like, "Are you excited?" I can't tell. Like, she had to ask me. She's like, "Are you excited?" I can't tell. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm excited." She's like, "I can never tell if you're upset."
This is my excited face.
Excited. Yeah, this is my
happy face.
So
my sad face.
I'd like to point out that when
it's
I'm
like
manic,
Blue Steel.
Blue Steel. From Zoolander. Like when I'm manic, I got a fuck ton of emotion and I express like a motherfucker, right? Like I'm up and I'm energetic and I'm positive and I'm and like people like fucking dig that and they fucking jump on and get inspired by it and shit. The second that mania starts to come the fuck down and the second it starts to go back to internalized fucking emotionality again, people are always like, "Oh my God, Nick, is there a problem?" No, it's just now I'm back to fucking normal. Like, well, but you sound really pissed off. Can I help you with that? No, you can walk away now, though. And I'm not saying that because I'm pissed with them or I'm trying to say they're insignificant. It's literally like, okay, the conversation's done. I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing.
I mean, he does refer to them as pissants, but.
Actually, I used to, and I caught this from my brother, and I'm going to blame him every day that I have this expression in my vocabulary, in my fucking vernacular. When I get pissed off enough, I'm like, stop wasting my fucking oxygen. You were not worth the flesh you're printed on. Now, my brother once said that as a joke around me, but I was way fucking young and quite honestly, way fucking autistic. And so now it just fucking stuck. So when people piss me off, I'm like, you're wasting flesh.
Listen,
just end it.
Daria, are you okay? Make sure you're doing okay right now.
We're just checking in because we're trying not to read your mind.
Blink twice if you're okay.
Oh God, not the eye twitching. Oh God, oh no. But I like the joke. Like I like the joke of like there's a tree right now wasting its time providing you oxygen.
Yes.
Like,
the fuck? You're wasting time, money, and both of our lives right now by fucking checking in with my emotional state. Here's an idea. Stop trying to read my mind.
Well, it's like my office in my building is I keep the door open unless I just want to shut everyone else out. And I've told my boss that it's like she's like, you can always close the door if you want. I just don't want to people anymore. And she's used that phrase. She's like, if you don't want to people, I'm like, okay, thank God, because I will literally if I just don't want to deal with anybody because my office is the call center is also in that same office. So if I just don't want to. If I'm just overwhelmed by everyone, I will close the door. But if I have the door open, I will sometimes just have random ass people walk by my door and be like, is everything okay? And will we focused on something? And I go, yeah, why? And they're like, you just look mad. Nope. Just doing a report.
Hold on.
Doing a report.
So they'd open your filing cabinet and go.
Yep, exactly. Starting my favorites for me.
So Amanda, I've got to ask, because if I was in that situation, after a couple of times of somebody fucking asking that, I would have to fuck with them. Have you ever looked up from the desk and gone, no, my dog died? And just let them react to it? Because obviously they want to feel important because they're asking you how you're doing it and they want to show concern. But really, it's they want to be there for somebody.
You ever see those signs that they have, like people put for like animals or pets, and it says, "Please don't disturb the dog. He's okay." Yeah, put that on your door. Please don't disturb the Amanda. She's okay. Don't tap on the glass.
I do have a sign. I do a sign that I made. I made a meme. It's the Lionel Richie "Hello," and then it's like I have a sign that says, "Hello, is it me you're looking for?" And then the caption says, "If you need me, please knock. I promise I'm available." And I'll put that sign up if I close the door and you're still allowed to come in the door. But if I don't want you coming in, I will take the sign down.
There you go.
But I have done that whole thing with messing with someone where I had a coworker that just was annoying the absolute fuck out of me, and she is ADHD to the absolute max, like absolute max. She's been diagnosed.
She's dialed up to 11.
Yes, all the time. And she one time was just bothering me, like constantly just not shutting up. And then she's like, "Are you okay? Like you're not really responding." I'm like, "Yeah, my dad died. Shut up." And so just to get her to stop. And I was just like, she's like, "Oh my God, really?" I go, "No, just stop talking to me."
I'm sorry. If I worked there, the second I heard that come out of somebody's office, I'm dying laughing. I don't care if it's actually true or not. I'm just dying laughing at that point. And if somebody's like, "Why are you laughing about a parent dying?" I'm like, "I ain't laughing about that, but that's fucking funny."
So being offensive is great.
Yeah, no, I was actually gonna say something. It's like the whole, like, it's kind of like a little, kind of ties in the whole.
Yes.
People being offended, the fact that we just don't show emotion,
right?
Like just have blank expressions. It's like they're almost like, well, how dare you not perform for me, you monkey? It's like, how dare you not like show basically. It's like, I don't need to do that for you. I don't need to emote for you. I'm like, unless you want to, like I said, personally pay me more. I'm not going to do that. And so I'm not here to just smile at you.
On the music box a little bit harder for me and I'll perform.
It's like maybe the Jack in the Box will come out. But it's like maybe just, it's like, don't do that. Like, it's like they get offended that I'm just not acting the way they think I should act. Game. Right. Yeah, like I'm not doing this social game. Yeah. I'm not doing this this social game that they think I should be. I'm like, I'm not a player in this, okay? Just I'm here to do my job. I'm not here to perform for you, okay?
Right.
Just leave me alone.
Let's hold them to our game, the TISM game. Ooh, try to be honest for the first time in your fucking life. Say something
right.
honest.
Be
for
blunt.
Once.
Be blunt and like just stop emoting. Stop emoting. Be blunt. Tell me what you're feeling. I don't
Be
need a
direct.
filter.
Be direct.
I mean, they're kind
And
of
that's
being
another
Do I
like,
look
thing.
fat in these jeans? Tell me the one fucking time in your goddamn life you're going to be honest.
Right.
So I'm
Like,
sorry to
that's-
take the very female question kind of for that, but like, come on. I've had exes who were just like, if I ask you if I look pretty, it's because I want you to reassure me that I am. And I was like, but if it looks fucking bad on you, why shouldn't I tell you that? And they were like,
Like,
Right.
don't you want to know?
no,
Like,
I
don't
want you
wanna
to let me know I'm pretty. And I'm like, well, fucking put on an outfit that makes you pretty then.
know?
And
Mhm.
of
Right.
course, that was wrong somehow. But like in context, I get it. I'm a fucking guy talking to a woman. Yeah. All the fucking implication of that one. But like the point to that is just if you don't want an honest answer, then don't fucking ask me an honest question.
Yes.
If you want me
Yes.
to lie to you, then say, tell me I'm pretty. All right, you're gorgeous. Right? Like my
Right.
wife, my current wife, okay, who I love to death because of fucking, she wants me to be my autistic self. She wants me to be me 100% of the time. Granted, we're still figuring out what the fuck that actually means. We're trying to figure out what that means in the fucking relationship. But like the other day, she goes, you still find me sexy? And I went, yes. And she was like, I need you to tell me. And I said, I find you very sexy. And she was like, how sexy? And I said, sexy enough that unfortunately we've got kids around. Otherwise we'd both be naked. And she goes, thank you. And just walked the fuck
Yeah.
away because that's what she wanted. She wanted reassurance
wanted
that I'm still
reassurance,
there.
Yeah.
I still find her attractive, but she knew how to ask me. She knew how to get me to be honest with it because she didn't say, am I pretty? No, she said, tell me I'm sexy. And I said it.
Right.
Why? Because if I didn't feel that way, even if like I have a moment in time, and we've all been in relationships where there are moments where we're like, fuck this partner, even if it's for a 5-second period of time because they just did some
Right.
real dumb shit, right? Even if I'm having that moment and she asks, she's okay with me saying nope and walking the fuck away because she
So
knows it's here in that much time, right?
Right.
So I thought of a really stupid joke. So it's like, so she doesn't want you to beat around the bush, so you can beat her bush, is what you're saying.
Right. Yes. Yes. And actually, weirdly enough, she had a similar idea to that, but it wasn't the word bush. She said something about a hole in a stick.
my.
And so, by the way, my wife is also in the improv group with us. It's actually one of the reasons why me and her got together. And she is just as dirty as we are when it comes to fucking jokes.
I have good stage chemistry with his wife.
Yes, actually, he has very good stage chemistry.
Oh, so he has to watch out then.
No, like I would never be jealous
Now
of
let's
them.
leave room for Jesus now.
Yeah,
no,
let's leave room Jesus.
I
No,
wouldn't
like-
be willing to go that far with her on stage anyway.
or
Yeah,
anywhere.
I
I'm
know.
hoping.
Well,
I
I mean,
mean, shit happens. But
if we absolutely had to
We're all
do a scene
human.
where we kissed or something, maybe I would do it, but like it makes me uncomfortable.
yeah, but improv, you don't ever have to have a scene where you
I'm
kiss.
just saying, like,
yeah,
but
for
I
a
would-
play or something. Like me and her had pretty good chemistry when we're doing plays and stuff.
I'd actually rather kiss a stranger than Natalie because I feel
I would rather kiss a. No, I don't want to kiss anybody. I got fucking
Yeah,
problems
you
with
don't
people
want to
getting
kiss
to my
anybody.
face.
I've known her-
Yeah, I don't wanna-
I've known her for so long
Yeah.
that it just feels weird.
That's another thing, and y'all can maybe attest to this too. I've had exes get offended because I have problems with people getting close to my face. I don't like the whole like fucking 9-minute fucking open mouthy kiss fucking shit. Little pecks. I'm okay with that because that's as long as I can stand getting that close to somebody's fucking face, right? Exes had fucking problems with this, and they're like, "Cause you don't like me, or you don't not affectionate." My wife, I explained the awkward fucking feeling and the fucking like spine fucking feeling that I get when something gets that close to my fucking face. Like me and him talked about getting these fucking pop filters, and I said, "Dude, I'm worried about it because it's getting close to my face." And
Yeah.
like when we first set it up, he was like, "How you feeling? We can take it down if you want, if you need to, but how you feeling?" It took a little while to get used to it, but like Natalie's more than cool with it, and she's like, "I need a kiss right now," and I'll kiss her, but she doesn't need to like fucking like
Right.
a lot, right? And a lot of my exes were like, "Oh, it's because you don't care about me as much as I care about you," and I'm like, "Sure, that's what it is. Fucking doors that way." Because I got pissy with it eventually, right? Do you guys have proximity issues or shit? Nope, nobody can
Not
relate.
for me.
Got it.
No, I was
can.
saying something, sir. Jesus Christ.
I wanted to make a joke, Amanda. Go ahead. And she called me sir. Am I really that much older than everybody? Holy shit. She called me sir.
Yes. Okay, boomer.
You call everybody sir.
Oh, she called me a fucking boomer. Oh my God. I'm only 43. Jesus.
Yeah, might as well be a boomer.
Amanda, how old are you?
I'm 34.
Fuck. Nikki?
33.
Fuck. No, I don't need to ask you. I know you're in your late 30s. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I am the old asshole. Go ahead.
I don't necessarily like people touching like my back. Like necessarily like when I like hugs, but when if someone like goes to put an arm around me or like around my shoulders, I'm just like, stop. Don't do that to me.
Okay. So when it comes to dancing and the man has to put his hand on your lower back. What?
I don't dance. No.
All right, Phil Collins, calm the fuck down. I'm just kidding.
So wait, you can't dance or you don't like to dance?
That was a Genesis joke.
It was. What?
She said both.
She said both. No, fair, right? Fair. I don't like shit getting close to my fucking face. I definitely don't like intimate moments close to my fucking face. And you don't like people touching your back. And to dance, somebody would have to put their hand on your back. I get it. Or you just don't like to fucking dance. I get that too. So Nikki, what's one of your eccentricities?
When it comes to proximity stuff, I'm not a big fan of like make out stuff either. Like I don't like people in my face that long. To the point I don't even like things like touching my face at all. I don't like my, I know this might sound terrible, but like my youngest is level 2 autistic and he likes to touch your face, he likes to touch you, right? And so I have to explain to him, buddy, don't touch mommy's face. I don't like it. It bothers me. And my kids will want to like, especially him, will want to do that a lot. And I have to just take his hand and remind him, buddy, mommy doesn't like things by her face, you know?
Yep.
So it just explain it to him, because as much as he needs to touch me to like get that sensory input, I'm teaching him a boundary by saying, I don't like my face being touched. Just like you don't like certain things, I don't like certain things. And I guess it did become an issue with my husband before I really knew I was autistic. Like, he's like, well, we never, like, he likes to kiss. He likes to do that. And I'm like, he's like, why don't you ever kiss me? And I'm like, because I don't fucking want you in my face. There's smells. There's
because you don't love me.
I don't.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
everything you're describing.
Like, if your breath stinks, get the fuck away from me. Like, I literally can't handle it.
It could even be minty fucking fresh, and I'm going.
Yeah. So I have such a strong sense of smell that like I can smell shit from like 10 miles away. Like I'll smell something nobody else smells, and it sensory wise, like it bothers me if there's a really strange smell or a smell I can't place or something.
Yeah.
And if your breath is even like slightly off, like I can't handle it.
I'll smell shit from like a mile down the road.
Yeah, he's just like that, Nikki. Yeah.
Same. So like I have a really strong sense of smell, and I don't like stuff on my face. I don't want your tongue in my mouth. Ugh. It causes me physical pain. I don't want your tongue in my mouth.
I can feel it.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
So I don't like that at all. So like I'm not saying I've never done it. I've never made out, but like it's not my favorite thing to do. And occasionally I will oblige him and kiss him for longer than 2 seconds. But like that is like the most I can possibly handle.
If I'm so I'm not a big fan of making out either, but I will say if I'm intoxicated or high, it doesn't bother me as much.
Yes. If you numb my shit a little bit, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
So actually, my wife likes to take advantage of when I'm drinking. So like we rehearse on Friday nights.
Advantage. Jeez.
Oh no, I don't mean. You know what? I'll take it whatever the fuck way you want. Whatever.
I had a question for Amanda. Actually, I think you've said enough, Amanda. So you said you don't like to dance and you're not good at dancing. Are you? I'm assuming. Are you married or not married or?
No, I'm not married. No.
So if you were to get married, would you dance at your wedding? Would you like do it just for the?
I would do it for the wedding, but it would be like the most awkward, like 8th grade dance.
So you still have trouble, like
side sort of thing.
You don't still have trouble getting into it.
With rhythm, like Nikki knows, I am so clumsy. I have no rhythm whatsoever. I'm just an awkward human. Okay, I stand awkward. I feel like I stand awkwardly.
With your partner will be like polka. We'll do that.
Yeah. Put some Weird Al on.
There you go. Oh, fucking nice.
Now that's what I call polka.
I like how you said you were going to ask something for Amanda and you were going to let her talk, and then you fucking cut off every sentence she said.
Commenting.
No, I'm just getting you back
just
for
doing
fucking doing
commentary.
it to me.
So are we going to talk about being offensive again, or are we just?
We
gonna-
have been actually this entire
Yeah, I
time.
feel
We
like
actually have been, because if you think about it, all of the things that we don't like for touch, we focused on touch stuff, but all of that stuff, think about it. We have forced ourselves in life to engage in these behaviors because we felt a social imperative. If we think about it, somebody was forcing us to do some shit we didn't want to fucking do. How
Because you
fucking
were-
offensive is that? But
Because
granted, we were the ones forcing ourselves, but it's still that
because
push that.
you were David Bowie and Queen.
Yes, exactly. We were under pressure.
Yeah.
Abso-fucking-lutely, right? Like, we absolutely were. I agree with you. And goddamn, you explain this shit. You know where I'm going with it. You fucking say it, considering I've talked so fucking much, according to you and according to them. Look at Amanda's face.
Yeah,
Look
what
how
are your
irritated
thoughts
she
on
is
this
with
whole
me.
thing? Do you have like stories to contribute, Steve? Like the RBF thing we talked about, but like,
Yeah.
do you feel like you get sort of come at for jokes you make, or just for the way you are existing in the world?
Yeah, I got I got in trouble at previous jobs for things I've said. I made a joke, and it wasn't even a good joke. It was years ago. I worked when I was in my 20s. I don't remember what it was, but I made like an ignorant Southerner joke, like a joke about being like an ignorant Southerner.
Yes, he did.
And the girl I worked with wasn't even from the South. She grew up here, but she moved down to the South for a while and said, "That's really ignorant. Can't believe you say that. You think all people from the South are stupid." I'm like, "That's not what I said, but okay."
Selective.
She liberal white girl view is what she did. She liberal white girl view. She was offended on someone else's
I made
behalf.
like a
Yes.
ignorant redneck type joke.
Right.
It's
And like,
okay.
Right.
tell
But
stories
things
about
like
your
that.
ex. Tell stories about your ex.
What
About your ex. She used to talk about it all the time.
We need the
With him.
gossip.
Kills me.
I don't know what stories you're talking about.
Cool. So Steve had this girl that he was dating before the current one, and she would always drop these little lines, these little hints. Now, granted, she has a bit of an accent because she come from not actually a different country, but a different part of the country where there's a bit of an accent, and she always would talk about how like lacking in excitement and enthusiasm this motherfucker has, right? But also culturally speaking, her culture, very, very expressive, very, very like enthusiastic about shit and all. And so it was really interesting to hear her talk about him because I'm like, well, no shit, he white as fuck. But then it became very apparent to me that no, she's actually like making criticisms about his autism. And like it became even more and more apparent. And I know, Nikki, you asked Steve about like him to tell stories, but clearly he was like, I don't know what else to say. But I got stories for him because I'm the mouthpiece.
You're like, you'll talk for him.
Yeah,
You'll talk
he's
for him.
the smart one. I'm the mouthpiece. Although you haven't done a blog post for a while, and people
she was
like your
asking
blog
about,
posts.
So I made jokes at work that got me into trouble.
Yeah. Also,
Another job. This is along the same line. It was like racially insensitive, but it wasn't like racist necessarily. But the joke. So I used to work with a bunch of Spanish people.
Oh yeah.
And I don't remember what it was that they were talking about. Something came up, and then some of them were talking in Spanish to each other, and I understood what they were saying.
Mm-hmm.
But then I just made like a sarcastic joke. So we speak English in this country, like as a joke.
Yeah.
But they apparently were offended by that, or not all of them. One person was. One person complained.
Yeah, but to me that's not you making fun of Spanish people or the fact that they're even speaking Spanish. You're mocking those assholes who say that fucking
Which
shit.
is what I was doing, and I did it in an accent. It wasn't even my voice.
Right.
But I got written up for that. So
people wanting to be pissed off because they want to be pissed off.
But it was just one girl who got offended by it. The rest of the people didn't give a shit. So I was like,
wait, what color was the girl?
Oh, she was Spanish.
Oh, I thought you were going to say fucking white.
No.
Because it would have made way more sense to me.
But like, obviously I don't feel that way. And the funny thing is the person who reported me, actually, we used to speak Spanish to each other all the time. So like she knew that I spoke Spanish and that I didn't have a problem with her speaking Spanish. It was just, I was joking. Like,
wait. Were you dating that certain person
No.
at that time? Oh, okay. I was about to say, because if you were dating that certain person at that time, how in the fuck could
this was just a
anybody have
lady I
called you
worked
fucking
with that I
racist?
used to like make jokes with and we
No,
talked.
all right.
The funny thing, we joked around all the time, but apparently that particular joke she didn't like.
No
I'm
shit.
assuming that like somebody had been like racist towards her at some point or said something like that to her, but they were
guaranteed.
serious about it, even though I was kidding.
Yeah.
And I can see why somebody would be offended by that, but I just kind of blurted it out. Like I didn't really think about it. when I said it. It just kind of like verbal diarrhea. I said it as a joke, not realizing that somebody might find it offensive. But obviously, I don't have a problem with people speaking Spanish or any language. And I fucking used to speak Spanish with these people. So
they should have put it into context of Steve was making a sarcastic joke, but they fucking
I was
did.
making fun of people who are like bigoted about that kind of stuff.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's ironic to me that we are, as autistic people, neurodivergent people, we are given the stereotypical, we don't get the joke, we don't understand sarcasm, yet I feel like we are the first ones to get when someone is not serious about what they have just said, and are the ones to take offense the least, you know, or at least that's what I have experienced. It doesn't mean that every autistic person, you know, fits that bubble. It's just, I feel like I understand, like I can see when someone's truly meaning what they're saying and when they're just kidding, and everyone else misses it. And it's like, but I'm the one who's supposed to not understand the joke here, but I'm the one who usually gets it. It's like, no, you're getting bent out of shape over absolutely nothing. They were literally just kidding. How did you not see that?
I think also in my situation though, my color might have played a factor into it though, because like I was with a bunch of like Latino people, and I was a white guy,
right?
Yes,
and I was just trying to joke around with them because we joked around all the time about stuff. So like I was trying to be playful, and at that moment maybe it wasn't appropriate.
I used to have an analogy for this not an analogy. Anyway, I'm going to keep talking. So I used to have a way of explaining this years ago, even before I knew I was autistic, and even before I knew that there was this communication difference in autism and non-autistic people. Some people, when they hear a statement, and this is going to be a real ignorant fucking stereotype statement, women can't change the tire on a car. Some people translate all women can't change. Some people will translate some women can't change a tire on a car. And then some people put the women he has in his experience, women cannot, right? And the three of those are three very, very different statements, but it seems like to me that nowadays we haven't gotten to a point where we're putting those three pieces on there. It's always all, right? And if you are a white person or a person of color or a woman or
actually
gay
had this
or
argument with somebody
straight,
the other day.
People will translate it for you.
All right, so a bunch of people on Facebook. There's somebody that we both are friends with on Facebook. Anyway, they posted this thing about the phrase "men are trash." There's this phrase people say like men are trash, but they were saying that it doesn't mean all men are trash. But when you say men is trash, but I say, well, I don't really care one way or the other if you want to say that. But to me, if you say men are trash, it sounds like the all is implied.
So that was actually my point by the three different statements. I always imply, when I'm looking at any of those kinds of statements, I always imply in that person's experience, men are trash. And so I automatically go with, well, they've been fucking hurt by some dude, and that's what they're expressing is some level of frustration, anger, or fucking bitterness or hate or jealousy, whatever. It seems to me that neurotypical folk like to interject the word all more. And to your point, Nikki, I think autistic people, because of the way what we've had to deal with in our translation of the other world, I think we now know and look at those three different pieces that I mentioned far more. I mean, obviously there are certain ones of us in the community who just want to.
What do you mean by the other world? Do we all receive like a handbook for the recently deceased?
Yes, we do.
Is this like the upside down?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, upside down.
Yeah. What, you guys lost your manual there? Okay, let me send you the PDF.
The other world in Beetlejuice. Like, is this Beetlejuice?
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, what world are we going to?
Yeah, exactly. Outworld, maybe?
I feel like
Mortal Kombat?
Going back to the work thing a lot, I feel like my experience with this has happened quite a bit at work as well, especially because I was a stay-at-home mom for 7 years. So I didn't really I didn't really experience the work thing until about 2 years. I've been at this job for just over 2 years.
She became socially feral.
I became socially feral. So like I went
better
back
than becoming
to
Will
work.
Ferrell.
No, man, Will Ferrell's awesome.
Will Ferrell's cool to me. I like Will Ferrell, unless he's recently done something to get himself canceled. I like Will Ferrell. But anyway,
he's a hairy man.
I feel like I've had issues with people at work, and it seems to be the issues were with the youngest people at work. Okay, because I and I say people generally, it's really just one person, but the feedback I have received from
The Gen
work since
Z?
going back to work, yes, the feedback I have received since going back to work is with my directness. Like
yeah.
I am very to the point. They call
Right.
me, I'm very black and white, which
Yes.
I don't agree with whatsoever. I don't agree that I'm black and white. I agree that I'm poignant and that I'm to the point and I'm direct.
Right.
But I don't think black and white and direct are the same thing.
No.
So
They
I'm
think
very
it does,
direct.
though. They think those two are
Yes,
the
they
exact
think
same
it's the
fucking
same
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
So they're trying to pigeonhole me into this place of, oh, well, that's just how she is. She's just direct, or this is just how she operates.
Has anyone called
And
you
my
a boss
boss
bitch?
understands that.
Ooh.
Yeah, just a bitch, really.
Oh.
But I technically am a boss bitch now. I am an assistant manager there. So I
there you
am
go.
like one of the boss bitches. I call myself the bootleg boss lady because I'm like, I am a boss lady, but I can't actually do anything to you. So like I am in charge, but I can't fire you. So I'm like the bootleg boss lady. And so like I am pigeonholed in this pocket of I am bitchy because I'm direct, right? And I've actually gotten that most of my life. Would you agree, Amanda, that most people said that about me in high school? Like, oh, she's bitchy because she's direct, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like
so
probably most of our high school, like, because we've known each other since freshman year, that people just always assumed Nikki was a bitch.
Hold on.
Yeah.
This is what I used to get, this reaction. I don't know if you ever gotten this. People used to always be like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I would say something and they were just so in awe that I would say that. I'm like, what? They're like, like that's not appropriate, or why would you say that? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. I always heard, why would you say that? You just ruined our chance. And I said, chance at what? And they were like, getting some or some shit like that. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that's the goal. I didn't realize we were working towards that. I just thought we were talking to people.
I've struggled with the fact of like, you talk about how the brutally honest thing, right? And the direct thing. I've in my life have struggled to understand when someone is actually looking for honesty and when someone is looking for you to placate them. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like,
me too.
Do you really want, like you were saying with your wife, like, do you really want me to
Reddit
be honest
thing
with you
that
right
I
now?
mentioned?
Yeah. Or the Reddit thing.
Right.
Yep.
Or do you want me to placate you in this moment? And it's like when someone's coming to me with their problems, like that's when another issue I've had at work is like, if there's a coworker coming to me with an issue and I have a simple solution for your fucking problem, I'm assuming you want my solution or you wouldn't have come and talked to me about it. I'm assuming you want my advice or
sometimes people just want to bitch.
Told me about it. Right.
And you probably already know this.
Talked about this.
Listen for the question mark. When they say, when it ends with, what do you think? Free reign right there. Free fucking reign.
Right.
Sorry,
Well,
that was
Amanda
a very
and I have
hard
talked
lesson
about
for me to
this,
learn.
too. Yes.
Go ahead.
Amanda and I have talked about this. We've said, you said it best, I think. You were like something along the lines of, are you being okay with saying, are you looking for a solution or are you just wanting to vent? Like being okay to ask that question to someone you're having a conversation with.
Yes.
Because then it tells my brain, you just need to listen right now. They're not looking for a solution, or I need to be actively listening to be able to give you the proper solution to your problem. Right. Am I just here as a vessel to receive whatever you need to say right now to help yourself feel better? Or are you actively looking for my advice? So I've had to learn to meter that, but my directness got me to the position I'm in. It's what everybody doesn't like about me, but it got me to the place where what now?
Oh, well, you said it's gotten you to the place you were at. You mean being a bootleg bitch? Sorry,
yeah, being
bootleg
a bootleg
bitch?
being the bootleg boss lady. Yes.
Oh, boss lady. That's what you meant, being a boss.
Bootleg boss lady. Yes. So it got me to the position I'm in because my actual boss lady respects the fact that I see what needs to be fucking done and I just do it. She doesn't have to baby me. She doesn't have to hold my hand. She knows that if she leaves me with something, I will finish that task or die trying. That is what I'm good at. Right.
That's my boss too.
Here's
so that is what got me to where I am. Yet it's what everybody hates me for. And I've battled that my whole life. I've climbed ladders that I should not have been able to climb at this position as quickly as I have done it. I have raised my pay by $5 an hour and gained 2 extra roles at this job in less than 2 years because I am a direct boss bitch. That's what I do. Right. So here, but it's what I'm hated for at the same time.
I wanted to share a piece of advice unsolicited. So here I am mansplaining to you.
No, go for it.
Wait. Is there a question mark?
Hold on. So no, because I have experience with this. So one thing that I've had the same issues that you guys have had as far as like figuring out when people just want to complain.
You didn't start with, well, actually.
When people want to just complain and when somebody actually wants advice. So, but as a manager, because I've worked in several management positions, my approach has changed on that. So if somebody comes to me with a particular problem, I'll listen to them, let them vent. If it seems like they actually want some help with it, I won't actually give them the solution. I'll try to lead them to the solution, because most people learn better that way if you ask them questions to lead them to the answer themselves rather than just giving them the answer. And a lot of times, if you do just give them the answer, they'll come across, they'll think you're being an asshole or being a smart ass or being a know-it-all. Yeah. And it also doesn't help people learn unless they do it on their own. Okay.
So I've had issues with both those ways. One, when I try to lead somebody, I get people to say to me, I sound kind of fucking sending. But then when I just fucking tell them what the fuck to do, they're like, I like it better when you're direct.
You might be asking the wrong kind of questions, or it could be your tone. But like,
tone, you mean that thing I can't fucking change?
There's a book I have somewhere that actually lists, they have like 2 pages full of like 30 or 40 different questions of the types of questions to ask to help to lead somebody to the solution themselves.
Sure. So, no, I don't doubt that you have that fucking book, but I believe very
written
thoroughly
by somebody who has a lot of experience and has been very successful.
As a manager, right?
Yes.
Right. So he had to trial and error figure out those questions.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of like.
So the other thing I was going to say is, like, both of you guys talked about being in the positions you're in because, you know, your boss gives you a task, you get it done. One of the issues that I currently have with the job is my boss wants me to take more initiative. And I don't doubt that that's something a boss wants out of a supervisee, a subordinate, is to somebody who takes initiative, right? My only issue with that, and I think it's part of autism or just I'm fucking dumb, I don't know what the fuck she wants done. Like, I don't know what the list of tasks is. And so I say, just tell me what you want done. And she at one point said, and I think it was said out of frustration that day, she said, well, I shouldn't have to tell you. And I went, then how am I supposed to know? And she goes, you already know what I have to do. And I was like, I don't know what you're working on though. Like, I don't know what you're in the middle of doing. So why would I jump on a task that you're in the middle of doing? Like, I don't know. That's wasted fucking time. And then she was like, well, but you know all of the things I'm doing. And I'm like, oh, okay, but I don't know which ones I'm actually allowed, because we have different degrees. So certain tasks she has to do from a legal standpoint. So, and some of those tasks, I know that they need to be done, but I know she has to do them. But then I still get, you should have taken initiative. For fucking what?
My other best friend, we had like a kind of like a head-to-head wow, I can't talk. Like a head-to-head like argument.
Yeah.
We never really argue, but basically I was at his house and he was upset that I did not help him with some sort of thing. And then he like snapped at me. So I said, hey, while you're up, can you give me a towel? And then he like snapped at me like, oh, sure, I'll just do one more other thing. And then I got really upset over it. And then so we ended up talking later at my house, like a couple days later. And he's like, I had such decision fatigue. I can't talk. Decision fatigue. He's like, I'm tired of having to relegate tasks. I'm tired of having to ask people to do things. I'm like, but if I don't know what you want, I can't do it. Like, I can't assume what you want. Like, if you have to ask me.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry that your job involves you asking people to do things, but I am not one of the people that are under you. So I am your best friend. So I can't be expected to just know what you want when you want it. You have to ask me to do it.
I mean, I don't read minds. Yeah. Right.
And so like the whole, like, my boss doesn't really have the issue where you're like, you know, take initiative, that sort of thing. I always tell her, it's like, if you just give me a list of tasks and just leave me alone, but I will get that shit done.
So for about a week, that's what she was doing. She would write down or email me, here's what I need you to finish by the end of the day. Here are things that I just need done at some point, right? So she gave me a time frame. She told me what was needed. She set the priority of what needs to be done. All that shit got done in the time frame she asked. Because I pride myself on my ability to fucking make timelines, right?
Right.
But all those extra tasks that were just like, at some point, some of them still aren't fucking done. Why? Because do them eventually. all right, well, eventually I'll fucking remember to do them. And she like fucking bitched at me about one of them because it ended up being overdue. And I showed her the email and said, you didn't tell me when it was due. I had no idea that there was a fucking time frame for this fucking thing. And she goes, well, when I say ASAP, I mean today. And I said, then why didn't you write today? It's the same, it's one
vague.
extra letter.
You can't be vague with us, okay?
Right. Like,
like
but that's what I tried to explain. And she said, well, you're an adult. You should know how. And I was like, yep, now you're letting me know where you stand.
An intellectual disability.
Well, hold on.
It's like that
covered by law. And this is an accommodation that I'm asking you for, which is to please give me a timeline.
Yeah, well, I can't go into another. When we're not recording, remind me to explain something that's on a piece of paper in direct relation to that. So this whole fucking thing, like, by the way, I have no issue with the fact that I still work there and I'm talking about this, like, fucking on a podcast. She doesn't listen to this. In fact, nobody I work with fucking listens to this.
Right.
At fucking all. Oh, man. Sorry, I'm not bitter at all because none of my coworkers support my comedy group or this. Not bitter. Anyway, I actually had a point. You
had a point?
I did. I actually had a fucking direction I was going with this, but then
I had the same experience at my last job.
Hold.
By the way, as far as I'm like,
he's like, if you care, I also have.
I think he was thinking about something. No,
I'm trying to grab my thought. It's gone.
They would tell me, you're doing all X, Y, and Z perfect. That's all great, awesome. But we want you to, take on, more responsibility. I'm like, well, what things do you want me to do? And they would never actually tell me what they wanted me to do. So like, I started making up things on my own to do, and like, well, not those things. I'm like, well, then what do you want me to do?
Right.
Sorry, I'm getting so. But that's the fucking battle.
We need you to step up. What do you mean by step up?
Right, like. Fuck, if my sergeant in the army fucking got the fact that you have to fucking tell me what the fuck to do, that I'm not going to fucking know to fucking sweep the fucking bay.
We need you to step up.
Tell me.
Like, we need you to step up.
God damn it. And that's the thing though. People go, you're smart enough to know. No, motherfucker, I memorized a whole bunch of fucking facts. I'm not fucking smart enough to one thing or another. It's not about smart or not. It's literally how I think.
Amanda, I need you to step up.
Yeah,
and to step up.
And to the point I was thinking of, and Amanda just kind of triggered this for me, not trigger in a bad way, but like prompted this.
I triggered you. Oh God.
No. I don't look at the word trigger as always a bad thing, by the way. Trigger just means the fucking thing that precipitated. Anyway, with my wife, another moment with my wife. Okay, for a very long time, she did the normal. Wife and a female in a relationship thing. She fucking did a bunch of fucking tasks and got pissy that my ass was sitting on the couch, right? And she would bitch to her mama and tell her friends, oh, my guy, he just like every other man, just sits there. Well, one day she was cooking and getting the laundry and she was managing our level 2 daughter. And I'm sitting on the fucking couch reading something on Facebook, right? She got so frustrated. She was like, can't you tell I'm getting frustrated? And I said, no. At what point did you ask me to help? And she goes, I shouldn't have to ask you. And I said, well, I didn't fucking notice. I was a little absorbed in something else. And she was like, I need you to pay attention. And I said, I was paying attention to this. What do you need? And she goes, well, why can't you help me cook? And I said, I can. You just didn't ask.
You have to ask. You have to ask. Like, I can't just assume.
Right.
Like, it's like, what if I just got up and started helping cook? What if you just all of a sudden were like, well, get out of the fucking kitchen. I'll take care of it.
Right. So, and that was I didn't even notice, by the way, half the fucking shit. And it's not the whole like selective fucking ignoring that like stereotypically males do. It's literally, I didn't know half the fucking shit that was going on around me. I was kind of hyper-focused on what the fuck I was doing. Oh man, I was going down a weird fucking rabbit hole about fucking a behavior fucking thing. Anyway, but then she goes, okay, well, how do I tell you? And I said, why don't you just do it the most basic way possible? Nick, laundry, go. And she was like, well, isn't that rude? And I went, no, it's what you want and when you want it. Fucking tell me. And she was like, but I don't want to boss you around. And I said, you're not. You're letting me know what you need me to do when you need me to do it. And that's it.
That's what I told my friend when we had our argument. It's like, just when have I ever, like I told him, like, when have I ever just outright denied helping you?
Right.
Like,
yes.
When you asked me to do something, when have I ever denied, like, except as a joke, like, no, I'm not going to fucking do it as I get up to go do it. And so it's like, when have I ever like actually denied or said no for you to like need help with something?
Yes.
Can you think of a time? no, you can't. So you just have to ask me. Like, I understand you're tired of asking people to do things, but I can't assume what you want. Like, I can't just know what you want. So you just have to ask me, and because I will help you. I'm a very helpful person. I'm a very generous, giving person, but I just have to be told this is what you need me to do, and this is when you need me to do it.
I am so validated right now. I got to let all three of you know. I feel so fucking validated by this conversation today. But that's also part of what's like driving my energy and my reactions is I honest to God feel super fucking validated by the two of you because I don't feel like I'm the only fucking one. It's that fucking feeling that we all fucking have on a regular basis. We're the only fucking ones who think, feel, get affected by all of that kind of shit. Like that response right there, right? Like I've had that moment many, many a times of like you said, sometimes I'll say no, but I'm only saying no just to fucking say no. Of course I'm going to fucking do it. I've had those moments. In fact, my wife now, when I go, no, she's like, fucking do it. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's
fuck
just,
your feelings.
fuck your feelings, go. Yeah. And I fucking do it. Because I'm not actually saying, no, I won't do it. It's just a gut fucking thing of like, right? Like,
yeah.
But I feel fucking validated that somebody else has that same fucking reaction. And then I'm hearing another autist say, look, this is how it is. Just fucking ask me to do it. And in fact, I don't even need you to form it as a question. I just need enough fucking words to know. Nick, laundry now. I'm good. Like, it's why I worked out in the military so fucking well. Well, don't ask anybody I served with because I don't think they agree that I was a very good soldier. I'll actually say I wasn't a very good soldier. But I was good in this point. I didn't need all the extra fucking words. Like, I'm a wordy motherfucker. Yeah. I don't need none of y'all to be wordy. I just need y'all to say, Nick, shut up now.
Right.
Like,
but I think that ties back into the offense thing too, because it's like someone can be direct with you, right? And you're not going to immediately assume that they're being an asshole or a bitch or whatever. You're like, thank you for being direct with me. Now I know exactly what is expected and I can go do that, right? So now I know exactly what you need and I can go make that happen. And I've had to tell people that a lot too. I greet new employees with this disclaimer, right? Like I have a disclaimer. I'm like, listen, I'm autistic. This is how I do things. I am going to sound at times direct. I am not going to check my own tone sometimes, especially if it's busy in here and we have a lot to do. There's a lot of things that are going on and I am going to drop the mask occasionally and not address you in the way you need me to address you or not present in a way you're expecting me to present as someone who is a coworker or someone who is in charge of you, right? So here's what I need from you. I need you to very bluntly tell me you're being an asshole right now. And then I can go, oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Or I can say to you, I fucking meant it. And this is why I'm being an asshole to you right now. Right. So like,
you'll know when I'm an asshole. Like you'll know for sure when I'm being an asshole.
I beg people, please, if you are confused about something I have said to you, if you think I have said something rudely to you, if you feel that I am not being sensitive or I am being a bitch or I'm targeting you in some way for something that is happening, please come to me and tell me that it's happening so that I can correct it with you or explain why it's happening or apologize for it happening. I can't fix a problem I don't know about. Right. So you have to come to talk to me and I will not be confrontational with you during that time. I will sincerely apologize and mean it because 9 times out of 10, I do not mean to be an asshole. Right. I'm just trying to do my job and I'm just trying to help you do your job and help the team work as a whole. And that's sometimes going to come off as direct and to the point. And I get that so many people don't really respond to that. And I am working on it. It's not something that I'm just like, this is how I am, deal with it. I'm presenting that as an option to let them know that this is something I'm aware about and I'm working on it. So if you need to tell me something, just come tell me. I am not going to be offended by the fact that you feel like you need to tell me I did something wrong. Like I'm open to the criticism and I'm open to, meeting you where you're at in this situation because I know I have a tendency to come off this way. So it's not a scapegoat for me to say, this is just how I am, fucking deal with it. It's more of me giving that person the option to be like, listen, if I have offended you in some way, please come tell me because I can't fix a problem I don't know about and I'm willing to learn in this moment and do what I need to do to communicate better with you. Right.
You're giving an explanation, not an excuse. I just want to make
Correct.
sure I'm
I'm
saying that
giving
out
you-
loud because you said scapegoat. And like most of the time, it seems like we're making excuses when really we're giving
No.
explanations.
Given an explanation or a
That's
reason. It's
been my
not a
whole
reason.
life.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's a reason. It's not an excuse. This is why this happened, but I understand if it wasn't the correct thing that needed to happen in
Right.
this moment, and I'm willing to learn from that situation.
Yes.
But I am telling you why it happened so we can both understand and move forward.
There's no
That's the whole
excuse for
point
Nick,
of
though.
growth.
That's true.
That reminds me of like when I first got the position I'm in, I outright told my boss, I said, just so you know, a lot of times I feel people think I'm arguing with them. Like it just reminded me of like it's an explanation, not an excuse. I told her, I'm like, if I have a question about what you're saying, like if I'm questioning, like if you say something and I'm saying like, well, why? Like why do we do that? If I don't know the why, I'm not gonna get it.
Right.
And so, or I'm not gonna do it. Like we do this certain thing. Okay, but why? We do it the certain way. Okay, but why? Like me asking is not me arguing with you against it.
Right.
It's just I want to know why, and it's like I just need to be told why in order for me to get basically in order for me to do it. I
Mhm.
need to know the reasoning behind it. You can't just tell me, well, we've always done it this way. That's not a reason.
No,
Like,
no, it's
so-
not.
Right.
And so I explained to her. She's like, I'm the same way. I'm like, good, because it's like I've got all my life I've had bosses, and especially the boss that I had right before her in the same building.
Yeah.
I like every time I would question something, she'd be like, well, this just like she'd get mad.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah. As if you're questioning
not-
her authority somehow.
Like I'm not
Yeah.
questioning your authority. I just need to know why this is the way it's done. I need
Right.
to know
Right.
like what's the reasoning behind it. And
Right.
because
I
I'm
need
not
a
gonna get
reason
it-
more so than you're my boss.
Yeah,
Right.
like it's not like I dislike authority figures. It's not like I'm going against authority. It's like I just need to know the reason for it. And
Right.
so that's the whole like explanation, not excuse sort of thing. And so luckily my
It
boss
helps
now
my
gets it.
brain get past the demand avoidance function. that
Yes.
is preset in
Mhm.
there from the TISM. There is a
Holy
preset
shit, yes.
function in here
Yes.
called demand avoidance. And
Yeah.
when you give me a reason that then my brain can send to demand avoidance and go, nope, there's a
Mhm.
good reason for this, turn off now, it'll turn that function off and I'm more likely to complete the task in a timely manner and without begrudging thoughts
Mhm.
the whole time. Like,
Absolutely.
it will get done because you've deactivated the demand avoidance portion of my brain that was put in there at birth.
Amanda, are you okay? Just want to make sure you're okay. You doing fine right now? You look a little angry.
Steve's like, it's getting too serious. Let's turn this around. Turn this ship around. Fuck. We've landed in Serious Bay. Go back
real
to comedy
fucking quick.
quickly.
Something I just figured out the other day about me and Steve, and you know what, man, you're right, because me and you said something a minute ago, and it's been stuck in my fucking brain. Excuse me. You're absolutely right. Me and you used to argue a lot, but one of the reasons why is because we were trying to translate shit into the NT world. But the second we started doing this podcast, our fucking bitching at one another decreased like a motherfucker. And something I recently found out to transition back into us again. I have more PDA than he does, right? I've got a stronger sense of PDA than he has, but he has a stronger RSD than I do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, we took that test. Like I definitely had stronger
Yeah.
RSD.
you know what I
than
mean?
so-
And, but my PDA is way up, right? Like this motherfucker can stay on task for this fucking podcast and make videos and posts and all that shit. And like, he's good. Ooh, I got my list of shit. I can do my list of shit. I make the list and go, right?
Same.
But
Same.
But when it comes to talking to people or emailing people, even though he's a better writer than I am, so I actually ask him to do it. But like, I have no problem emailing you and hearing, I don't want to do your podcast. I'm like, cool, later. And I can move on to the next one because I'm okay dealing with somebody not liking me because I've accepted fuckers ain't going to like me. And I automatically assume you're not going to like me up front. So I just
I do-
engage with you with that assumption.
I do have a problem with authority though. Like maybe PDA a little bit, but it's big. Like I don't like being told what to do a lot of the times. And also I have a distrust of people with power or authority.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
that's
why
just part of you as a human being.
I just don't
Yeah.
like, I think that most often people who have power tend to abuse it. And that's why I don't trust them. And I know it's not always true, but it's true a lot of times. And I'm always skeptical. I'm very skeptical. And I've had a lot of bad personal experiences with people who have authority or have power.
Where did that
Yeah.
come from, considering what I just said?
PDA.
I still don't get it. Oh, no. Got it. Okay.
Because people with power tell
Because
you
you
what to do.
mentioned that
yeah.
you don't have a problem with authority figures so much. And then I'm sure
Me-
his brain
yeah, I
jumped
did.
to, well, I do. So
Ah.
yeah, that was,
Yeah,
I
like-
see where he went there.
Even like local governments and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
sort of like,
Yeah,
just
like
people-
any level of power you
yeah,
fucking
it's
distrust.
like in a power trip.
Well-
I had
Yeah.
this experience once. I went to the city hall, and I had a parking ticket, while I was serving jury duty. And the court said, oh, well, we'll take care of the ticket for you. We'll get rid of it. They never did. At the time that I got the ticket, I was really broke and short on cash. I didn't have a lot of money. So the ticket, even though it wasn't a lot of money, it was a lot of money to me at the time.
Yes.
And I wrote to the city hall and told them the situation. And I told them that I told them my whole situation. So I told them my personal situation and what happened with the court and everything. Right. I went down there because they ignored me. I went down to pay it. And the ladies at the office were reading my email out loud while I was waiting in line and laughing at me.
Oh, wow.
And so stuff like that. But that's only one experience I've had. But I've had multiple experiences like that where people who are in positions of power, especially like people who work for unelected positions, people in bureaucratic positions where they're given a certain level of power authority and they're not elected, and they feel like they can do whatever the fuck they want because there's no accountability. And you're just a citizen who's a peon and they can do whatever they want. Yeah. And they don't, sometimes they don't have the authority to make any judgment calls.
That is a true statement.
And if they do, they don't give a fuck anyway.
Right.
So like if you get a ticket and let's say the ticket, really maybe you don't really deserve the ticket for one reason or another.
Sure.
But they're just like, oh, fuck you. Okay.
Yeah. Well, because they don't give a shit because it doesn't actually affect their fucking day.
Right. And the problem when you have anybody who's in a position of power, like if you're a bureaucracy specifically, there's no one to hold you accountable because the taxpayers aren't electing you. Right. You're put into power by someone else. And you have no competition. It's not like if McDonald's is serving me shitty food, I can go over to Burger King. I have no choice but to use these services that are provided to me by the state. Yeah. And so I'm not like, I understand that certain things are necessary and all that, but that's why I kind of like lean libertarian in a lot of ways because I've had all these bad experiences with people in the government who have just treated me like shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you're supposed to work for us. You're supposed to work for the people. We pay taxes. We pay your salary, and then you treat us like shit.
So I will say though, too, is those people, not politicians. I'm talking about the civil servant worker who like those ladies.
Yeah, just like fuck you.
They deal with so many people in a day, and not to give them an excuse to laugh at you because there's no excuse for that. But a lot of those people deal with so many self-entitled citizen see-unts who like, what the fuck? Like nobody deserves to treat a person at a job like they get treated because some self-entitled taxpayer shows the fuck up. I get our tax money pays their salaries. By the way, those three people should not have laughed at you. I'm going to say it for the second time. But like DMV workers, right? I get why they're so fucking jaded and so fucking demotivated to like rush their fucking jobs to help you get through the line. I get that. People are so self-entitled when they go to the fucking DMV or RMV. Like we call it a fucking RMV here. It's a person at a counter. They are the lowest level employee at that fucking facility. They didn't make any of the goddamn policies of why you're pissed off. Stop treating them as if they owe you something because your tax dollars pay their salary. So fucking what? Yeah. We all pay she fucking pays her own salary. She's paying fucking taxes, right? Like, and the reason why I'm specifying a female employee is because I specifically had a moment at the Connecticut DMV where they had this big open room, a whole bunch of chairs, and you're watching a board with numbers go by. And I'm sitting in the chair listening to a ton of people walk up to this woman's window and like bitch at her because they had to sit and wait for their number 3 times today because you people needed one more fucking phone bill from me. She didn't make that policy. She didn't do anything but sit her ass in a chair behind a counter and tell you what you needed for her to be able to process it. She didn't force you to sit here 3 times in one day. You could have come back the fuck tomorrow. Or maybe you couldn't because you have to go to work tomorrow, but that's not her problem again. But you're going to give her that attitude. Sorry to jump on that. Sorry. It's just, that bothers me when people, like when you bitch at the barista at Starbucks because 13 people are standing in front of you in line. It's not her fucking fault. You're already running late for work, but you gotta have your fucking coffee. It's not her fucking fault. It's not his fucking fault. Who's standing back there? Sorry, I get really bitchy when people fucking act self-entitled.
Yeah, but I've had I've never come in and like been like, well, do you know who I am or anything like that? I've never been.
No,
like
I
that.
don't mean it like that. It's just some people actually say the words, "I pay your salary."
Yeah,
and like
I've
that's
never had
self-entitled
that attitude,
bullshit.
But I've had people just treat me like crap or like general incompetence too.
Yeah,
like
well,
I went to
incompetence.
I went to city hall once to pay a tax bill, and they sent me to another building. Went to that building. By the way, I was taking time off work that day to go pay it. Went down. They sent me to another building. I went to that building. Said, no, you need to go back to City Hall. Went back to City Hall. They said, no, you need to go back to. I'm like, what the? I went back and forth 4 times before I finally get to pay the bill. Yeah. Because they kept telling me like, oh, you need to go see this person. But like, I just tell me what I need. Like you send me back and forth, and I didn't get anywhere. Back and forth. They kept sending me to another person between like buildings that were like 10 minutes apart. I'm like, what the fuck?
No, absolutely agreed. Could they have done a better job to direct you in the right direction? Absolutely, they could.
Nobody wanted to actually try to solve the problem for me. They just kept pointing me to somebody else.
Well, because in their estimation, as long as you're not standing in front of them, they did their job.
So
I don't get enough. I don't get paid enough to deal with this shit. Yeah, no matter how
I
much
wasn't
somebody
rude
pays you,
to any of them. I wasn't rude to them.
No,
but I started to get annoyed after I had spent like 3 hours going back and forth. I'm like, I just want to pay this fucking bill.
Right. Yeah, I gotcha. So I will say that like his issue with authority actually has caused tension with me and him. So at some point in our comedy group, I kind of became like de facto fucking in charge somehow or some shit. Or at least by a majority of the people. And we kind of came into conflict because he started seeing the way I was talking as being his boss. And I had to reassure him, I am not your fucking boss. Like we started this group together. Like we have always talked about things together. Me, him, and my partner have always discussed every decision we've ever made in the group together. Neither one of us have ever made a decision without the other one. And so he's always been right there, my equal, my partner in everything. But because other people were looking to me in that de facto position, like I didn't say, can I be the boss? By no fucking means. But we had that conflict with each other because his distrust of fucking authority, his rebellious, angsty nature, if you will, right? I just
so emo, geez.
What? Say that again?
So you're so emo, geez.
Right.
Be more like punk.
Yeah, more like punk. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the original punk movement, right? Step against authority just purely because it's authority. What gives you the fucking right? I didn't put you in charge, right? That kind of idea. At the same time, I also know that I walk in a room, and I don't necessarily mean to do this. I walk in a room with an air of authority. Not that I have any necessarily, but I walk in the fucking room as if my ass can make some decisions.
He's like, do you know who I am?
Yeah, like I walk in the room that way, and I don't necessarily mean to, but that's just kind of how I come across to people that like, Nick just thinks he knows everything. Oh, Nick just thinks he can tell people what to do. No, I'm actually making a suggestion. Why don't we do this? I'm not telling nobody to do shit.
I thought you came across because you got turned on by playing tic-tac-toe.
I get the know-it-all thing a lot too.
I had to visualize that fucking joke.
Nikki, that reminds me of like when we did like Scott's wedding, you kind of like took over, not in a bad way. You like took over like when we were decorating everything. You're like, okay, just if you have any questions, just come to me. It's fine. I'll just direct you to do what we need to do.
Yeah, I was so ready for one of those people who didn't know me to be like, who the fuck is this bitch? And why is she here running shit? But like, because I'm very like back to the work thing and like all that, because I see an opportunity for something to get done, or I see a problem that needs solved and I just jump in and do it. That it has, it's bad and it's good. And in this moment for him, I saw my 2 friends who had an issue going on, which is their tablecloths at their wedding didn't fit the fucking tables. And we had 3 hours to set this bitch up and be done before rehearsal. And I said, fuck everybody. I'm in charge now. We're going to make this happen. I grabbed Amanda. I said, this is what we're fucking doing. She's like, I'm down. Let's go. We confronted his partner and we were like, listen, this is what needs to happen. Don't even tell me no. We're paying for it. We're going to go make it happen. And we literally went and made it fucking happen. And we threw this wedding together so fucking fast. Like, it was so quick. That's just what I do. I just solve the fucking problem. I just get in there and get it done. But again, that's like
another validating fucking moment. Because I've
Yeah,
always
I-
shit on
it's good
myself
and
for
bad.
doing that, for stepping in and just trying to get it done. I've always shit on myself for that attitude, but like I'm not the only fucking one, and it's literally for the same
How many times
reason.
did I
Yeah.
say, Amanda, I hope he's not going to
On
be mad
this,
at me,
the
but
day
I just
my-
feel like this
My
needs to
daughter's gonna
happen.
be married.
Like,
Right.
and I did too. I'd be like, oh, I hope he's not upset. Like,
Yeah.
and I apologized several times. Like, I'm sorry, I just kind of jumped in and took action. He was like,
Yep.
no, I'm glad you did. Thank God you did, because I didn't know what else to do.
Because
So,
it
like,
got
But
done.
I did several times apologize because I'm like, someone's going to be pissed off that
Yep.
I just like feels like I just took like ramrodded over everybody
Uh-huh.
else's wants and needs. But
Ramrodded?
It's kind of like it's.
the
I don't
fuck
know.
expression
A
is
railroad.
that?
I don't know. Fucking
Yep.
Okay.
like a ramrod.
It's kind of like it's kind
What
of
the
like
fuck
at
is a
my job.
ramrod? Okay.
From a gun, like World War II, the ramrod.
Oh, fucking
Yeah.
shovey gunpowdery thing. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Amanda?
Oh, I was gonna say, like, at my job, I'm not like a supervisor or anything. Like, I'm like above people, but I'm not their boss, if that makes sense. Like,
You're
Yes,
above
it
them
is.
because you're just
I make
better
this-
than them.
I
Yes.
am.
Yes.
I am. I even sit on a pedestal.
There you go.
So
There you go.
but they'll come to me, and then like I'm with like the whole venting versus are you wanting to vent or you want a solution? So I gotten to the point where I'm just like, so are you just wanting me to listen to you, or are you wanting me to tell you how to fix it?
Right.
Because you ranting at me right now. I'm a very like actually like a passive person. So usually like with you and with you guys, how you kind of like one of you kind of became the de facto leader. For me, like Nikki is the de facto leader. Like she's more about taking charge, where I'm just like, I'll do the things you want me to do. Like I will do everything you ask of me, but I don't like making decisions. I don't like being in charge. I'm a very passive person.
By the way, I know
for
full
me-
well he can see me on the TV in front of me. I know full well he can
He's
see me
ignoring
doing
you
this
on
shit.
purpose.
And I love the fact
Mhm.
he's ignoring me because it's way fucking funnier when he does it. By the way, Amanda, everything you just
Yeah.
described, you and Steve are the equivalencies. Me and Nikki are the equivalencies.
How many
Yeah,
times?
I
have
can
said
make
that to you?
Yeah,
decisions
you said
though.
that.
I just don't always
it's
like
not,
to.
and it's not that Amanda can't make decisions. It's just
Yeah, she can.
when it comes to when the two of them are next to each other evaluating a moment, Nikki's going to go, bam, I got something. Let's go do it. And Amanda's going to go, all right, cool. And they're going to fucking go and do it. That's how we do things a lot too. And like generally, instead of voicing to the group, when you have an idea for something, you immediately text me or message me on Messenger and go, hey, dude, I really want to do this. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think people will get it done? What's up with it? And I go, okay, do you want me to bring it up? And you go, well, do you think it's a good idea? And I'm like, yeah, fucking right. And then very next rehearsal, I immediately tell
my group
everybody.
chats too.
What?
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
got-
why I do my group chats too. Like I'll message the person, one of the people directly. I'm like, okay, what do you think about this? And they're like, yeah, it sounds good. And then I'll message it to the group or have him message it to the group.
Right. And so
I
me, on the
completely
other
get
hand, I just think it and say it. And I'm assuming Nikki is very similar
Mm-hmm.
to that.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Like they're fucking us,
There's
man.
benefit
Wait,
in both.
no, let me say
There's
that a different
benefit
way.
in both.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There is. You're absolutely right. And there are times where his way is fucking way better. Like there have
Yeah,
been times where my approach of onto people has not come across very well. And I would say even
Well,
in our
it's kinda
comedy
like-
group.
Well, it's kind of like reading the room. It's like the whole going back to the being offended thing. It's
Yeah.
like when you get to a group of people and it's like, okay, will they be offended if I try taking charge,
Mhm.
or will they want me to just kind of like bleed it? Like, can't phrase this correctly, but basically just become a part of the group and like be more of a collective, or do they need someone to take charge?
Right.
Like, do they want me to be direct? Do they need me to do this? Like, because I've made coworkers cry for me just being direct and like me offending them basically.
I shouldn't
by
be so
me just
happy
being
that I've done
blunt.
it too, but I am.
Right.
I'm fucking happy.
it's-
I'm hearing somebody else say I've made a coworker cry. It's so validated.
Mhm.
Sorry.
So yeah, I've literally I literally made coworkers cry because
Yeah.
I just was blunt with them, and it's like I wasn't trying to be rude. It's just I just basically spoke what was on my mind, and they
Right.
went off and cried about it. I'm like, I'm okay. You can do that if you want. That's your
Yeah.
prerogative.
I've made
I-
doves cry.
You have made doves cry. Yes, you have. Thank you, Prince. Fuck that fucking like flatlined my fucking thought process right there.
I think we
Wow.
need to
I
circle around towards the end of this.
Yeah, we do. I think it is getting close to that time. It's probably close to that time for you two as well. I mean, we do have a comedy show that we have to get to tonight. And actually, it's getting super close to that time.
I'm headlining.
You are. By headlining, he means we're going to shove him in a trunk so he's not seen for 2 hours.
I thought you were going to say I'm manning the glory hole tonight.
Thank God you're the one in the fucking porta potty tonight.
Get it? Like headlining?
My God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bad joke.
Okay, so let's do a wrap up. We all agree that we've all been treated less than decently or less than fair just because we look, speak, sound, behave in a way in which is not considered the norm, but it's just the way we are, and we have no ill intention behind it, correct? We've all had that.
Offensive.
Right.
Yep.
We're offensive, but it's only offensive to fuckers who don't want to look beyond the surface. Right?
Right.
It's fuckers who don't go, hey, Nikki, what'd you mean? You know what I mean? Like that's what's missing in all of this is we have to do that for them because we know there's something about us where we might have missed
ask.
something. Right. Just fucking ask me.
If you want to know.
Nick, why are you getting so loud? Claws of fucking mania. I'm not angry about anything. I just fucking get all uppity sometimes. Just ignore that shit. Nick, why does your face look like you just threw up? It has nothing to do with the way your makeup looks. Not at all. No, like that.
I think I need a soundboard for moments like this. I'm going to get a plug-in.
Oh, where I get loud?
We have one, and I am in charge of it.
Wait, hold on a sec. Let me just check. Amanda, are you okay? I want to make sure. Amanda, you don't look okay to me.
Still with us?
Yeah, I'm dying actually on the inside.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she does have an innate ability to sit so still. I thought her internet connection fucking failed. Like just fucking.
So how is it? How is it being a Morgendorfer?
A what? Wait, what?
A what?
Daria. Isn't her last name Morgendorfer?
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, what? I just always know her as Daria. But
wow, excuse me.
I
Apparently, I know more about Daria than you.
Yeah, like who the fuck remembers Daria's last name?
Because Lauren's been watching it lately.
Oh, that's why you remember.
She's been rewatching all of Daria.
With all of that being said, does anybody have any final thoughts about us being offensive or being considered offensive in a world of fucking assumptive people? I almost used the C word.
I think that you should have another sandwich with lots of hummus on it. That's what I think.
Anybody got a final fucking opinion? What?
I think assuming makes an ass out of you and me.
I enjoy that phrase. I think their assumption doesn't make an ass out of me at all. It makes them a fucking ignorant bastard. Go ahead.
Agree.
I'm the perfect one, okay? I'm the perfect one.
I like that better.
Right? Like, because honest to God, every time
ass out of you.
I rarely make assumptions about what you're thinking, but I definitely will speculate the shit out of it. And if I'm wrong, tell me. I'm
gonna mail Amanda a sign that she can put on her door at work, and it's gonna be a flip sign. So one side will say yes, ... I'm okay, and on the other side it's like no, I'm not okay. She can flip it.
Make it green and red.
Dishwasher and say clean and dirty. Just flip it around as clean and dirty.
Please don't tap on the glass.
We might be able to market those to autistic people right there. Are you autistic? Do you work? Here's a sign.
You just put it around your neck.
Do you have an office with a door?
Yeah.
There's a sign for you.
I like Steve's. Wear it around your neck. No, I'm actually pissed.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine.
Yes, I'm fine. This is just my face. That's what you need a t-shirt that says that.
Yeah.
Just wear it every day. Yes, I'm fine.
Good
this is
God.
just my face.
It's like the kids who are autistic and go trick-or-treating. They have the blue pumpkin. We need something like that.
Right. We need something to identify us. But I think it would be a bad idea if we had an armband.
That becomes Holocaust.
We're
getting into
Holocaust
territory
Nazi territory here.
Mm-hmm.
We need identifying badges to tell us that we're not, in fact, neurotypical.
No, I'm sorry. I will not wear a star on my chest at all. No, thank you.
Or a pink triangle. Sorry.
Yeah, or a pink triangle. Yes, I will not have either one of them.
We're gonna send you to Infinity Camp. That's what we're gonna call it.
But unfortunately, all they have to do is put 5 people around me, and I'm going to do this.
As long as it's not a puzzle piece, okay?
Yeah. My God, don't bring up a puzzle piece now.
We could talk about some shit about that puzzle piece because fuck, it doesn't mean people are missing something.
Yeah, that's a whole big. We could have a whole last episode about that. People being pissed off about that.
Yeah, we could talk 1,000 miles to Tuesday about some of the misinformation.
We need a terminology episode.
We do.
terminology,
I
like
actually
when we
agree with
break
that.
down terminology
Yeah.
around autism.
I agree with that actually, especially because we all probably carry some like fucking not great definitions about some shit. I guarantee.
sure.
So anyway, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to the On the Spectrum Neurodivergent Convergence podcast. Yes, it's a big ass name because it's 2 podcasts in one. In fact, we spoke for like 2 fucking hours. We literally could do a part 1 and part 2 on both of our podcasts with it. But if you liked, disliked, agreed, disagreed, or just want to add to our conversation, feel free to put a comment on either one of our podcast social media sites, preferably on Spotify, because bitches, it helps us.
If you've listened to the whole episode and you've gotten to this point, please leave a comment saying that Nick is an asshole.
Yeah, please fucking put a comment that I'm an asshole at this point.
Anyway.
Holy shit.
Make the
fucking
comment that Nikki is a bootleg boss lady.
Yes,
or
bootleg boss lady.
Boss bitch.
Yes.
Ask if Amanda's okay.
Ask if
Yes, ask if Amanda's okay.
Hashtag Amanda's okay.
Yeah.
Amanda, are you okay? Are you okay, Amanda?
Oh.
Yes.
Awesome
Alien
reference.
Ant Farm.
Awesome reference. All right. So, seriously, you think that's the best version of that song?
It's the version I grew up on, okay?
Steve, we've got to stop
Therefore,
talking to these people. We got to stop talking to them. Just
listen,
like right now.
I do like the Michael Jackson song. Don't worry, I do. Even though he's very problematic human, I do like his music.
Hey, you know what? Let's separate the skill from the human being. Or
same with J.K. Rowling. You could say the same thing about J.K. Rowling.
But let's not try to do that for R. Kelly because his fucking
Harry
songs
Potter
were about
her.
children. So let's not do that for him.
Right, I get it.
Anyway, beyond that point, thank you very much.
You did it again.
I guess.
I was about to say Amanda just got pissed off and left. I brought up R. Kelly. She was like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out."
My mind's telling me no.
Oh, good God!
I have that on our soundboard.
All right, so, ladies, thank you very much for joining us today. We were really happy to be on your podcast as well because we're doing the mutual show. But once again, if you have anything to say about this episode, please put it in our comments. Please reach out to either set of our podcasts to talk to us, to let us know what's going on. And if you want to see more episodes of us joining together, making our autism powers combined, let us know. Thank you very much, everybody.
We need to figure out what our rings would be.
We would oh, God, yeah. That'd be great.
Captain Planet this shit.
Captain Planet.
Goodbye.